I'll begin with the roll call. Scott Self, that's me, I'm here. Richard Lane.
Here.
Jane Johnson.
Here.
Brandon Self. Here. Michael York.
Yeah.
Victoria Ames.
Here.
Selectmen's Rep Ken Colby. Alternate Steve Malone.
Here.
Alternate Michael Scungio.
Here.
And alternate Brian Vertigo.
You can slide for 10 minutes.
Okay, so we have a full board, so we will not be seating any of the alternates. And just have the record show that Sly is here for us. You can sit up here at the table with us, Sly. You good? Okay, thank you. You're welcome. Tonight's agenda, we have the approval of the October 26, 2023 minutes. And under applications and public hearings, we have proposed 2024 zoning amendments to the Swanzey Zoning Ordinance. Item number B, planning board number 23-027, that's a boundary line adjustment. DiBernardo Associates LLC on behalf of Rob John LLC requests a review of a boundary line adjustment for properties located along Base Hill Road. Subject properties are shown currently at tax map 203, lots 22 and 23 in the business district. Item C, planning board number 23-029 is another boundary line adjustment. Fieldstone Land Consultants on behalf of Benjamin Steiner, Clyde L. Keene Jr. and Carol Cooper requests a boundary line adjustment at properties located along Westport Village Road. Subject properties are currently shown at tax map 246, lots 73 and 74 in the residential district. That's a site plan review continued from September 14th, 2023. Fieldstone Land Consultants PLLC on behalf of All Purpose Storage Swanzey West LLC requests site plan review for construction of a multi-tenant service facility to be leased to various service businesses at 115 Base Hill Road. Subject property is currently shown at tax map 52, lot 16 in the rural agricultural district and the business district. Item E, planning board number 23-028, that's a multi-tenant application. DSM Realty and New Hampshire Liquor Commission requests multi-tenant review for operation of a retail sales liquor outlet at the existing commercial building located at 11 West Swanzey Road. Subject property is currently shown at tax map 204, lot 4 in the commercial industrial district. Application, let's see, okay. Item F, planning board number 23-030, multi-tenant application. Brian McCormick on behalf of Swanzey Homestead Offices LLC requests multi-tenant review for operation of a professional office space at the existing commercial building at 217 Old Homestead Highway. Subject property is currently shown at tax map 105, lot 1 in the business district. Item G, planning board number 23-031, Honda dealership, site plan application. Monadnock Land Planning on behalf of Kate Donovan LLC requests site plan review for construction of an external service building at the property located at 567 Monadnock Highway. Subject property is currently shown at tax map 222, lot 30 in the business district. Discussions of the business, Alitech substantial progress review, and any other business as may be required. Going to the top of the page here, we need regional impact. That would be a vote deciding whether anything on tonight's agenda affects surrounding towns and whether we should notify them as such. Anybody see that? We need regional impact. If not, a motion that we do not would be in order.
Motion is not needed.
Okay, a motion by Richard Lane that nothing on tonight's agenda requires regional impact. Is there a second? Seconded by Jane Johnson. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay, the minutes of October 26, 2023. And to start off, do we have a motion to approve the minutes of October 26, 2023?
So moved.
Motion. Okay, motion by Michael York to approve the minutes of October 26, 2023. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Richard Lane. Is there any further discussion? Any changes or anything in the minutes? And all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
All abstain.
Thank you. Okay. I will put that thing here out of the way. Brings up the first item on our agenda, which is it's the proposed 2024 amendments to the Swanzey zoning ordinance as proposed by the planning board. And that is a public hearing, and I will open up the public hearing on that. And Julius, are you just presenting, or are you just putting things up on the screen, or?
That's up to you. So I'm putting up the ordinance as it's written wholly.
Okay.
If anybody didn't only print out a whole copy of the ordinance and hand out.
Yeah.
So I have it presented up here in case you want to go, if you like me to go line by line, I can do that. Or we could take a look at the handouts and go that direction, or it's up to you.
Well, we'll dive into it and see where it goes. So the first proposed amendment is amendment to the zoning ordinance to update the description of the Village Business District 1 and Village Business District 2 zones. The zoning map is further amended to show Village Business District 1 north of the Wilson Pond Dam and south of Keene Line. It is further amended to show Village Business District 2 along North Winchester Street and north and south Main Street. So that pertains to, I think, to a couple other items on that as well as to the zoning change. One of them, all of Business District 1, Village Business 1, which is primarily located in West Swanzey here, is proposed to be changed to Village Business 2. And the areas up, which will be described in another amendment, North Swanzey, which we're talking about there, is going to be changed from regular business district to Village Business District 1. And the differences there are the Village Business District 1 has fewer things that you can do, fewer items that you can do with the business. Village Business District 2, there are more things that you can do with the piece of property. Basically, the differences between those two. So that first amendment pretty much is to amend the map, the town map that designates where those zones are going to be. So Amendment 2, amend the zoning ordinance to permit the use of attached accessory dwelling units on rear lots under the provision of Section 3AA Accessory Dwelling Unit Ordinance. And that's something that came down from the state, I do believe, about allowing the accessory dwelling units on a rear lot. We allow them on regular lots. We're just clarifying that they're allowed on the rear lots. So is there any discussion on that? That's going to be a new, you have that one up on the screen. It's just going to be a new item number 7, correct? And item number 7 will say, the use of accessory dwelling units on rear lots is permitted under the provisions of Section 3 AAA Accessory Dwelling Unit Ordinance, amended March 2024, if it passes. That's what it's going to say in that. Any discussion on that one? Guess not. Okay, now, amendment number 3. Let me just read through this. Amend zoning ordinance to include Village Business District along the western side of State Route 32 from the Keene Line to the outlet of Wilson Pond Dam. The airport property frontage along Route 32 affected by this extends 200 feet into the lot. Village Business District 1 includes along the eastern side, of State Route 32 from the Keene Line and continues up Lake Street on the north side in Village Business District 1. Additional lots located on Walnut Street up to and including lot 24 on the north side of the street and 39 on the south side. Additional lots on Grove Street up to and including lot 46 on the north side and 50 on the south side on Park Street up to and including lot 30 on the north side and 35 on the south side are included. Lake Street includes a lot up to 41 on the north side. Now, who wants to explain what I just said? Who wants to explain what that means? I think we need to further explain what that means, because this is what you're going to be reading in the voting booth. And it just, I think we should reword it so it reflects what we're trying to do. And what we're trying to do, pretty much what we're doing is what we talked about before, and is that is we're rezoning Village Business District 1, which is in West Swanzey. Again, it's up Main Street of West Swanzey, that side of Main Street. It's the mill complex down here, and it's up North Winchester Street as well. That's Business 1. and as well as a piece over by Grove Street over here. Anyway, that's going to be rezoned or proposed to be rezoned to Village Business 2. That's part of what this was talking about. Village Business 1 is going to be up in North Swanzey from the Keene line down Route 32, down to where I think the dam is on the pond. So I'm going to propose that we might change that a little bit. I have a few scribbles here from going over it past week or so, but if we reword it, say that, okay, amendment number 3, amend zoning ordinance to rezone the business district along the western side of State Route 32, because right now it's zoned all business along Route 32. That Village Business 1 that we're talking about proposing is all business district now. So if we say that it is to rezone the business district along the western side of State Route 32 from the Keene line to the outlet of Wilson Pond Dam. The airport property frontage along 32 affected by this extends 200 feet into the lot. And then we go on to say eastern side of State Route 32 from the Keene line and continues up Lake Street. This is a description of the lot, and continues up Lake Street to lot 40, I think it was 41 on the north side. And then it would say additional lots located on Walnut Street up to and including lot 24 on the north side of the street and 39 on the south side. Additional lots on Grove Street up to and including lot 46 on the north side and 50 on the south side. On Park Street up to and including lot 30 on the north side and 35 on the south side are included. Then maybe adding a sentence underneath that says all of the aforementioned properties are to be rezoned from business to Village Business 1. So I think that explains it a little bit better for someone in the voting booth taking a look at it. And I don't know, Beverly, did you get any of that?
I got some of it.
You got some of it?
Not all of it.
Yeah, because it's a big change from that paragraph there, but it sort of, it moves it around a little bit to let anybody know that that's what's going on in between North Swansea and West Swansea here. And there's another one we probably need to reword later on, but do you want me to go through it again?
No,
I could just,
do you have it written down yourself?
well, I sort of do, but it looks like that. But I can give you those notes, or
Yeah, that would be fine.
or I can,
Bring that by the office too, we can type it up.
and we can do it. 'Cause
Okay, would you do that? Type it up and then send it to me.
we'll do that, yeah, we can just go over in the office. So this being a public hearing, we can change wording for the proposed zoning amendments, but if we have to change the meaning, or if we change the meaning of the amendments, then we have to have another hearing after this. If this, in my opinion, is just changing the wording of it, it pretty much says the same thing about what we're doing, rezoning and proposing, things like that. Yes, sir.
Scott, maybe you start off by saying
See if it's what you're thinking. So I took the number 3 and it states amend zoning ordinance to include village business. I crossed that out and I had amend zoning ordinance to rezone the business district along the western side of State Route 32 from the Keene line to the outlet of Wilson Pond Dam. So that,
so maybe say from business district to village business, and that includes minutes claim.
so let me see, where would we put that includes? Is it,
Just start reading again.
okay,
Trying to take your last sentence.
And just-
Bring it up to the top.
Yeah, I want to read the last sentence. too.
so I'm gonna start reading again, just interrupt me where that should be put in. Amend zoning ordinance to rezone the business district.
To village business district 1.
Okay.
Lots including.
Okay, yeah, I've got that at the end of it. We can put that right in there. Yep.
That's all I'm saying.
Yep, rezone, yeah, village, and that would work right there. And then just continue on the west side of State Route 32 from the Keene line to the outlet of Wilson Pond Dam. It's that says that whole line on the west side there. And then it mentions about the airport property frontage along Route 32 affected by this extends 200 feet into lot. That sort of needs to be in there just to let us know on that west side, because it pertains to the west side. So then it gets into the east side of it as well. Let's see, further down. So now, eastern side of State Route 32 from the Keene line and continues up to Lake Street. I just take the 2 out, continues up Lake Street. I'll just read through it again. To lot 41 on the north side. The additional lots located on Walnut Street up to and including lot 24 on the north side of the street and 39 on the south side. Additional lots on Grove Street up to and including lot 46 on the north side and 50 on the south side. On Park Street up to and including lot 30 on the north side and 35 on the south side are included. And then we could leave it there because the last sentence I had said, just a second, I'll get to you. The last sentence I had said, all of the aforementioned properties are to be rezoned from business to Village Business 1. And I'll get to you in a second there. The reason that we're naming all these different lots, lot 24, lot 41, 32, and all that type of stuff is just to make it more specific for our zoning ordinance. Because in prior years, when we've rezoned or proposed rezoning like that, it's generally been the east side of, like we're saying, or west side of Route 32 down to the dam, and that's it. You know, you didn't really know if this lot or that lot was included or not. So Julius has included all of those lots in there to make it more specific as to what it's talking about. You had a question?
So you want to take the word additional lots on Lake, or the lots on Lake Street, it doesn't say those lots in this description.
Up to Lake Street, let's see, to lot 41, it says, or it would say to lot 41, because on the bottom of that, you see Lake Street includes lots up to 41 on the north side. It says that in the very last.
It might be up to, because you're talking about coming down the 32
Yeah.
from Keene line.
On that,
Up to Lake Street and go further, up to the north side of Lake Street, and say up to the north side of Lake Street, which would include lots 41 and on the north side. Yeah, I'm just saying that somehow, if you take the word two out there, if you're talking about coming all the way down, up Lake Street.
and not including Lake Street is what you're getting at, is that
From the
it?
Keene line up Lake Street, so if you're staying.
Yeah, and not including Lake Street is what you think it might be interpreted as.
Right, so it could be better worded.
To Lake Street, or
To
it
Lake
probably could be a
Street.
little bit better worded than that.
Up the
So,
north side, or to include lot 41, or something like
Mr. Chairman,
yes,
that. Just a suggestion.
on that particular sentence, Lake Street includes lots up to 41 on the north side.
yeah.
Now, is that up to and including lot 41, or up to and excluding lot 41?
I don't know. Do you know that, if we're including lot 41 on Lake Street? Julius, do you know?
On the
We are
north side,
including. Okay, so that's a good point.
It should be up to and
And
including.
including lot 41, yeah. So definitely, just pencil that in there, Julius, would you please?
It's lot 41. 41.
Including lot 41, yes.
That's, okay.
And that's on the north side.
Yes, I have
of,
that.
Lake.
I
Okay.
just want to make sure.
We do have a question online, if you could explain the difference between the two districts and what that might mean. I'm sure everybody else might be thinking the same question as well. What do they gain, what do they lose, and so on.
Okay, and again, now we're talking about Village Business 1 as opposed to Business District. I think that's what the question probably is, right? Okay, let me just dig up my little portion of it here. Zoning, I think it's on 29 of our zoning ordinance. Let's see, yeah. On our zoning ordinance, it starts page 29. So, Village Business District 1 currently includes single-family dwellings. These are uses, allowable uses. Single-family dwelling, restaurant, hotel, motel, or bed and breakfast facility, professional business offices, club or lodge, retail business establishment, personal service shop or service establishment, banking or financial institution, nursing home, home occupation and home-based businesses. Manufactured housing on individual lots, provided they meet the requirements of the district and all of the pertinent requirements of this ordinance. So there are also special exceptions allowed in that. In addition to the aforementioned permitted uses, the following are permitted after the issuance of a special exception by the Board of Adjustment. And those uses would be recreational facility conducted as a business, only when such business activity is conducted indoors, daycare facility, gasoline service stations, repair garage or body shop, motor vehicle dealership, wholesale or manufacturing facility, vehicle wash facility. So those are the uses that are currently allowed now in Village Business District 1. So in the proposal, hotel, motel is going to be removed from that as a use. And I believe Club or Lodge was supposed to be removed from that. I didn't see it on the list, but I thought we had to remove that. Do you recall? I think we had to remove the Club or Lodge from there. And also nursing home was removed. And under special exceptions, the only thing allowed in special exceptions under this proposal would be a recreational facility conducted as a business only when such business activity is conducted indoors, and a daycare facility.
On my list here, I got banking and financial solutions crossed off.
Right.
Yeah.
I think you're looking at business district? Oh, okay, right there, yeah, I see, okay, yeah, we crossed that off there, you're right, yeah, I didn't have that in mind here, correct. Yeah, banking, oh yeah, we've got it right in that one, okay.
So I think the only one we're missing the actual fiscal ordinance, because this is the live document we're working off of, was Club or Lodge. So I just crossed that out in orange, so you can see that was changed.
Okay, good, it's
Change
all right
these
up there.
lines as we go, yeah.
All right, good. Do I even have to read that, Ken, since it's up there? So, the special exceptions that will be removed would be gasoline service stations, repair garage and or body shop, motor vehicle dealership, wholesale or manufacturing facility, vehicle wash facility. And also multifamily will be removed from there as well, from that Village Business 1. So, and again, this is for online, I'm talking, and for anybody here too, just to refresh. And under business uses, what is allowed in the business is a restaurant, educational, governmental, or religious facility, hotel, motel, inn, or bed and breakfast facility, professional and business offices, retail sales service, bank or financial institution, funeral home, private club or lodge, commercial greenhouse or nursery, home occupation and home-based businesses, and let's see, function halls, indoor auctions, recreational facility conducted as a business, research and development, and accessory uses. And there are also special exceptions allowed in the business district, and that is a special exception for daycare facility, gas station, gasoline service stations, repair garage or body shop, motor vehicle dealership, wholesale, warehousing or manufacturing facility, industrial park, vehicle wash facility, self-storage facility, and also multifamily. So, let's see, also, okay, the removal, processing of clay and loom crushed stone, we can do that under special exception, or gravel for sale. Drive-through facility, let's see, licensed nursing home, hospital, bulk storage, distribution of large quantities of material, liquid, solid, gaseous, intended for sale. So, as you can hear or see, that there's a lot less going to be allowed in Village Business 1 if it's changed to Business 1, because it is business now. And that all of that I just read is allowed in that North Swanzey area that we're talking about to rezone it to Village Business 1, which is why it's being proposed to be rezoned to Village Business 1, is because it's a more of a neighborhood area there, and lots of those things would never be able to go in anyways. It's not, lots.
Do we know how many, if any, non-conforming uses we will be creating with this change?
We won't be creating any because they'll be grandfathered in if it's
Right.
changed. So
It's still part of non-conforming.
it would be if you stop using the business for a year or more, then it's non-conforming and you wouldn't be able to do it without a special exception.
But we don't have a number for it.
No, we don't.
You have several multi-family houses.
There are, yeah. Yep. So let's see, where are we here? Oh yeah, we were just reading the uses, the differences between Village Business 1 and Business District. So there you have it in a nutshell. What is and what isn't allowed there. Let me get back to my paper here. So we're still on amendment number 3. So we're talking about rewording that in a way that's easier to understand, which I can go over. Julius and I can go over it in the office there, and we can get Beverly a copy of it there. But basically, it's just going to be easier to know that that amendment is all about rezoning the business district along Route 32 over North Swanzey there down to Wilson Pond, rezoning it to Village Business 1, which has less permitted uses. So, any other discussion on that number 3? Someone else?
Somebody online asked, under the new change, would they no longer be allowed to create an apartment within their house to be rented out?
Well, let's see.
It'd be ADU.
Yeah, accessory dwelling unit is allowed there. A multifamily, which is 3 family or more, would not be allowed. So duplex would be, because that's not multifamily. So that, I don't know, does that answer their question? We can't hear them, right? You can just hear them? Or they aren't even?
They're typing in the chat, if they were to
Okay.
go to the voice chat, you would be able to hear them.
Okay. So that would be the answer to that question.
So yes, that answers it, thank you.
Okay, thanks. Just let me know if there's somebody on there, right? If I don't see it, just get my
I'll
attention.
just raise my hand.
Because I forget about them, those guys being on. So, any more discussion on proposed amendment number 3? And I guess not. So, that brings us to amendment number 4, which is amend section 5, article A1 in the zoning ordinance to update permitted uses within Village Business District 1. This includes the removal, which we just talked about, of hotel, motel, banking or financial institution, and also club or lodge that Julie's just put in there. So again, that's like a formality, like a housekeeping part of it there, where it's got to be a separate article to remove those permitted uses now. Let's see what else we have here. I don't know if they're on there. I don't think anyone has, anybody have any discussion on that? We've been discussing it for a while here anyway on that, yes.
This is on amendment 4.
This is number 4, yeah.
Okay. The last sentence.
Yep.
This includes the removal of hotel, motel, banking institution, or financial institution, semicolon, nursing home.
Yep.
So nursing home is being removed.
They are all being removed, and also club and lodge is being removed from that. It doesn't say that, I know it, but I think they missed it, and I think Julie just put it back up on there that it was supposed to be removed from there. In all those further discussions we had, it was removed from there.
Just a minor punctuation point, since hotel, motel exists as a letter on here right now, it could have a semicolon after it, like comma. Hotel, motel, semicolon, is a semicolon separate the uses?
Okay, yeah, that's
In the-
fine, yeah.
In the regular ordinance,
Okay, and the ordinance is actually in the,
that's right,
okay, understood.
that's why financial institution, semicolon, nursing home.
Yes, sir. Could you just identify yourself for the record for?
Yes, my name is Charles Sawyer. To be put into this amendment,
Meaning what?
meaning if, let's say, you have 500 dwelling apartments, and you know that's gonna need, we're gonna need more cops, more firemen, more drainage, more school teachers, maybe 500 kids at the stop for the school bus to pick up, who knows, right, whoever's going in there. I don't know, but maybe these things should be taxed to where it's like a small home, each one. And it takes, that'll put a stop to some of this thing that's going on here in Swanzey, because this is really, really bad. And
Yep,
those who
so
politically know exactly what's going on here.
Pretty much what you're talking about are what's called impact fees. Some towns have them, some don't. We don't here, but those are done in the planning board, site plan review and that type of things.
Can it be done here?
It cannot be done there, no. No, it has to be done, it has to be adopted by the town, and the town has to set up a few, I think, part of it has to do with capital improvement and capital reserve funds for those specific when they do have the impact fees, they are designated for a specific purpose, like the school or the fire department or the police department, and that's how they are spent and when they're spent.
Because there's, you know, there's big profit in that, and if they're gonna do such things in this town, they need to pay for it.
Yep.
And that means each one has to be like, maybe like a small house, because us as homeowners, we're gonna take the brunt of that. And that's what's gonna happen, and, I think that's why a lot of people are down here, and, if we can do that, it gives us some leverage. I also think the airport, since it's owned by Keene, we need to do something about that with taxes, to bring that money in, if we gotta hear jets, just saying.
We've been down that road a few times too.
Yeah, well, it's our town, we
City
need to do
keeps-
something.
Exactly. Mr. Jasmine, our code
Yeah.
enforcement, you had a
For
question?
the questioner, I mean, the select board's talked about impact fees a lot this year, and if he wants to take that matter up in the select board, I'm sure we'll be happy to hear it.
Yeah. And
I didn't know if it.
I'd encourage you to do so, definitely. Amendment number 4, which again is removing the hotel, motel, banking or financial institution, nursing home, and club or lodge out of, let's see, Village Business 1. Any other questions on that? I guess, seeing none, I guess we'll move to amendment number 5. So this amended, let's see, number 5, amend section 5, article A2 in the zoning ordinance to update uses in Village Business District 1 permitted by issuance of a special exception. This includes the removal of gasoline service stations, repair garage or body shop, motor vehicle dealership, wholesale or manufacturing facility, and vehicle wash facility. They would be removed out of Village Business 1 as an allowable use under special exception, which they currently are allowed now. Any discussion on that? No, pretty self-explanatory, I think. Number 6, amend section 5, article A2 in the zoning ordinance to update uses in the Village Business District 1 permitted by issuance of a special exception. This includes removal of multifamily dwellings. That's pretty much self-explanatory. Number 7, amend section 5, article A3 in the zoning ordinance to update restrictions within Village Business District 1. Restrictions include no building or structure in this district may exceed 35 feet in height. So again, that's just a new height restriction for Village Business 1. And if all of this goes through, the only Village Business District 1 will be in North Swansea, over by the airport there. Any questions on that one? Probably not. Now, amendments 8. Amend section 5, article B2 in the zoning ordinance to update uses in business district, in the business district, permitted by issuance of a special exception. This includes the removal of self-storage facility. So that just removes that one item as a special exception. Planning board thought that that might be a good idea because there are a lot of the self-storage units going up in town here, and they're taking a lot of good business land away, even though I'm sure they'll be used, and they are used, lots of people use them, but still, it looked like it was taking up a lot of land, so that's why it's proposed remove it from business district. Okay, that brings us to number 9. No discussion on that, I guess. Number 9. Amend section 5, article B1 in the zoning ordinance to update permitted uses within business district. This includes the addition of 1-family to 2-family dwelling conversions that do not change the footprint of the existing 1-family dwelling, and also retail electric vehicle charging station. We have a letter here concerning that, concerning a charging station. But as far as a single family to 1-family to 2-family is how it's written here. 1-family to 2-family dwelling conversions that do not change the footprint of the existing 1-family dwelling. Why not? Not changing anything. So, any questions on that?
Just point out that the handout we gave out here has got 9 and 7 reversed. And the reason 9 was moved up to position 7 is it relates to District 1. So So the handout's there,
What exactly are you referring to?
on this handout that Julius has for us all, number 9 on his handout is your number 7 that you read, and number 7 that's on this handout is number 9 that you read. No big deal.
Okay,
But there's people.
I'll take your word for it.
These people are confused, I noticed them.
Okay. So, did I miss one there or something?
No.
It was Judy's can't count.
Okay. We'll just leave it at that.
You're good.
Okay. You had something?
Yeah, in reference to this one, the retail electric vehicle charging station. When we last met and went through this, my interpretation was that we had decided that there would be no retail electric charging stations allowed within this district, Business District 1. The allowable use would be if, say, an apartment complex as a privilege or as an addition to the resident would have a card and would be, if they had a charging station within that complex, that would be an amenity to the resident. It was not, my interpretation was that we were not going to allow any retail service station type of situation with electric charging.
That's noted in our minutes too, that we just approved what you just said.
Yeah. I think that was, this refers to the business district, not business district 1.
Right, yeah, just business district, yeah. It wasn't business one.
That's what he said.
Yeah, that's what he said, I know, but it's business one, I mean, business district, not business one. And you're right, when we discussed, we put it as an allowable use in the business district, but not a retail. It was allowable use if a company wanted to put charging stations for their employees or something like that. It was allowable use because as it stands now, if they wanted to do it, it isn't mentioned in the zoning, not allowable use, special exception or otherwise, so they'd have to get a variance for it from the zoning board of adjustment. So planning board decided to put in as allowable use, again, not a retail one, just for accessory use of business in case a business wanted to put one in, and see how it went from there. Would you identify yourself just for record, please, ma'am?
Water's Edge in Swanzey. Just so I understand in my little head. So when you're saying an electric charging station, and if we don't change it this way, they'd have to go for a variance to the zoning board in order to get one installed.
That's right, yeah.
Okay. So this is just to try and make it easier for our existing businesses to
Yeah.
accommodate their employees.
Right, we aren't requiring businesses to put in so many electric charging units. We're just saying that, you know, if you want to put one in for your employees, it'll be an allowable use if the town passes that. Barbara.
I'm sorry, I'm getting confused here. So retail electric vehicle charging stations will be an allowable use in the business.
No, it wasn't retail when we discussed it. It was just the charging stations, and that was it, not retail.
So
So,
you're changing that.
Retail, I think that's what
The handout says they're allowed.
says the retail are allowable. Well, that, unless the board remembers differently, that isn't what the
Yeah, we
board
should just
decided on.
strike the word retail,
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah,
thinking.
there's no retail, so yeah, it's not retail
but
So-
keep electric vehicles start charging stations.
in the business district
Right, just strike
as an
retail.
allowable use.
And how, can you please read how that's supposed to read then? Because it doesn't, it's not
Yeah.
as on my end.
Get back to it here. So it's under, in our handout, or in our paper, it's under proposed amendment number 9, and I'll just read the whole thing again. Amend section 5, which is the business section, article B1 in the zoning ordinance to update permitted uses within business district. This includes the addition of 1-family to 2-family dwelling conversions that do not change the footprint of the existing 1-family dwelling. And it says here, retail electric vehicle charging stations. So we're crossing out the word retail. And now it would read, that last sentence would be electric vehicle charging station. It would would say that at the end of it. So it's two uses that are being proposed to be allowed here. One of them is a conversion one, and the other one is, and I'll read it, electric vehicle charging station.
So where are retail electric charging stations allowed?
We don't have them yet, but they would be considered a vehicle fueling station, and they would most likely be allowed in any zone that has a service station, gasoline stations allowed in it, which is, I think, under special exception, maybe business zone. But
But
again,
this is a business district, not business zone.
no, same thing, business district, same thing. I'm just,
Okay, because right now, this retail, you can't do that. If you take that retail out, then you're saying you can't do it in the business district. So if Marlowe's wants, well, no longer the Marlowe's wants to put in a charging station.
Yeah.
Well, no, if they want to.
to sell for retail, yeah, for retail
Yeah.
sales, it would not be allowed. Yeah, Gamarlos is in business district down here. Yeah, it would not be allowed.
That doesn't make sense because that's a place that has commodities. People would want to, it's got a gas station there. It's a good parking lot, lots of space to put something like that in. People could charge their cars and have a meal. So why wouldn't you want that spot for a retail electric charging station? That just seems like really amenable use for that type of location. So if you're not going to have it there, where are you gonna have it?
Keene.
Yeah,
They would have to get a special exception.
they will have to get a special exception because of this service station part of it.
Right.
And those are considered a vehicle fueling station is what an electric charging station is.
But if a factory wanted to put one in that's non-retail, that's just for their employees, that would be allowed.
But I'm saying that's an ideal location for retail, and it's, a gas station is different than, an electric charging station doesn't have the impact at all of that, other than traffic. But it doesn't have the impact of fuel storage, that a gas station does. So I don't even know that your definition makes sense to lump a charging station with a gas fueling station, because they really are different.
I think this goes back to what Scott was saying earlier, is that we're trying to maybe control a little bit what our prime business land is being used for. So if it was just allowed retail charging, we could have retail charging all up and down Route 10. Every lot.
Yeah, but you're
And then
not,
what
you're
would we
not
have?
likely going to, because it's too
Well,
expensive.
it could.
And it's not something that people willy-nilly, just like putting in a gas station.
But what could we, it's like any storage. Do we want to have all of the same thing? We
But
want to
that's
just have that.
kind of like out there. The reality of how that's going to play out is, if you look where charging stations are now, they're usually someplace where a person can do some other type of business while their car is charging. And it's a small footprint compared to a gas station. So it's not like you're gonna have, I don't understand the concern at all. And it's expensive. It's not easy to put in a charging station. So it's not, it's probably, I don't know, the storage units are probably easier to put in than a charging station. So we are having a lot of those on our business district. But I don't see the concern for a retail charging station. It can only be a plus to the businesses that are existing. And
Steve, you done? Are you finished? Okay, Steve, Steve was before you. I'll get to you in a second. Steve was before you, unless you.
On the last sentence, one family or two family dwelling conversions that do not change the footprint of the existing one family or two family dwelling, retail electric vehicle charging stations. Now, can we eliminate the word retail,
We just did.
Well,
and insert for private use, or private or employee use only. To clarify,
it's an accessory use. It would be considered an accessory use, but it doesn't say that there, but accessory use would probably be the wording to use with that. But yeah, we did change it from retail electric vehicle charging station, cross out retail to electric vehicle charging station. And that changes the meaning of the article, which might trigger another public hearing, but the reason we did that is because of when the planning board discussed it, retail wasn't involved. It was just a starting point. We didn't allow anywhere in town for vehicle charging stations, anywhere. Anyone in town wanting to put one in has to go to the ZBA for a variance to get it. So the planning board, you might have been at some of those meetings there, decided that we'll put in allowable use in the business zone for accessory use, for a business if they want to put it in, but not a retail one. That's why retail was disallowed out of there. We're not included in our discussions.
well,
So,
I still think that wording to the effect of for private or employee use only.
to clarify it, yeah, I
Clarifies.
got it, yeah, I got
That could
it.
be in a voter guide.
It could be, but I think he means it should be in the zoning regulations to clarify what it's intended.
So in 15 years from now, somebody will read it and say, oh, I can't, or I can't.
So I see your point there, and yeah, it's a good point. So electric vehicle charging station as an accessory use, would that fulfill it? Julius?
It would work essentially the same.
Yeah. Any preferred wording from you?
Well, I like the term accessory primarily because we have a definitive portion in our ordinance that addresses accessory uses.
And we use it a lot in our ordinance throughout. Yeah.
Right. So I feel like it's important that we say that, but I think that if it's accessory use to the structure, I think it's also fair for businesses to say, I'm renting this out to the other users to come in and use it during the day, and that's still accessory to my building, right? I think you could put a accessory vehicle charging station at let's say a gas station, right? If you place it there, you say it's accessory to your use, people can pull in and drive and charge, and it's all the same, right? So I think that's where I think we need that terminology, but if you wanted to pick the difference between commercial and accessory, that needs to be clearly defined or not, one of the two.
Well, how about if we just put in front of the word retail, none? So it would read non-retail electric vehicle charging station. That might clarify it. And leave the accessory out, and there'd be no ambiguity about the accessory use. It just means non. What was that? Yeah, non-retail vehicle charging station. Gonna have to say that, right? Yes.
So really, once we're with the Energy Commission, I'm not sure.
Just identify yourself for
Paul, I'm the chairman of the Energy Commission. We have 2 members here as well. So our big concern is just looking towards the future and everything. In all reality, I understand what Barbara's saying. In all reality, though, the only person that's going to come in and put a retail station is probably Tesla with their superchargers. Most everyone else, like Market Basket, they're going to call them an accessory use when they put them in, or Marlowe's. But Barbara's concern is, what if somebody comes to Marlowe's and says, we want an acre, we want some of your footage here, we want to buy part of your payment, put in a charging station. According to this, they couldn't do that. So they'd have to work out some kind of deal where it would be an accessory use.
But that's what I'll get to you in a second. That's what the variances are for. There isn't, the planning board anyways, hasn't seen a large influx of people coming in wanting to set up charging stations. This is just 1 year of zoning we're talking about. It continues year after year. If the planning board sees a bunch of interest in that type coming in, then we should address it then. Was part of the discussion we had this before.
So Tesla came in and said, I want to put in a supercharger station, 20 chargers. There isn't a way for them, a way for them to do that.
Yeah, you go to get a variance, and then you still come before the planning board, site plan review. And then it's
But
done.
I also noticed that the last amendment change calls for accessory EV charging units in every zoning district. That's my draft in the previous one. Okay.
think that was something
So
else.
I'm looking at the handout, which isn't necessarily the same thing you guys are looking at.
No, we're just looking at the notes in the agenda
Okay,
from going
okay.
over the zoning. Jane,
Actually, he just said what I had been trying to say.
repeat it.
And that is in regard to what Barbara said about putting an charging station at Gamarlos. It would be easy to get a variance for that because it's a sensible place for it. So he'd have to go through the step of a variance, but that really wouldn't be that big a deal.
That's a variance, really a variance, if it wasn't, I mean, all they have to do is come in and say it's accessory to our grocery store and they would get it. They wouldn't have to get a
True.
variance at that point, right? Because it's like.
Unless they want to put in 50.
Yeah, I mean, if the
Yeah.
folks at Gamarlos or Market Basket say we want to install
Yeah.
chargers here as an accessory, there's no issue there.
There might be, because they come in for a site plan review, and if they've got, we'll say, 50 stations there, I think the planning board's gonna say, that's
Yeah,
not
well,
accessory.
that doesn't happen in all reality.
It probably doesn't.
Yeah.
Again, to my point, that nobody's coming in asking for it either.
Why make it difficult for people to, because if
We
you
aren't.
don't make it as something that they see as a possibility, then no one's gonna wanna come in. There's no.
Not necessarily. We've got a couple apartment houses there that
Yeah.
nobody cared for, and they came in and did it anyway. You know, I mean, because it's allowed, but, you know, those things happen. It isn't impossible. That's what variances are for. And again, this is just 1 year's worth of zoning here. Zoning is perpetual.
Yeah, I guess I really don't understand the resistance, you know.
Well, then I don't understand your non-resistance, I guess, so we'll just leave it at that.
Well, could you further explain why you're resisting that as an allowable use?
Not necessarily, I'm just, you know, we put it to the voters. If the voters don't want it, then they just vote it down. Planning board's going over it in the public hearing here, and we'll just continue.
But voters are gonna see, oh, we can have an electric vehicle station here and as an accessory use. So they might not think about the fact that they can't have a retail electric station anymore.
Well, they'll think about it when they come into the land use office and ask Julius about it. Then they'll think about it.
If I could get a little bit of clarity, I guess, from the land use office specifically. If, say, one of the multi-family housing developments comes in and would like to put a EV charging station on the property, but they want to charge their residents that utilize the space, is that retail and would that be allowable or not?
It's a good question, and I suppose it's one that the planning board would address when it comes before the planning board. And if the planning board decides one way and the applicant thinks they're wrong, then they go to the ZBA because we've interpreted our zoning ordinance and the ZBA decides. And then if they decide wrong, they go to court. And it comes around full circle. Go ahead.
I want to hear what you said again. Is it what you were saying, say, Plainview, okay, they put that up, okay? They put charging stations in the back. They charge the residents for the use. That would be a privilege, or if you will, a accessory use by the residents only. So there, to me, that doesn't qualify really as a retail service station. It is a benefit of the use within that building. Is that kind of what you were saying?
That's the clarity, I think that's great for us to know. So the same thing would work too with businesses as well. If you have a business, FW Web comes in, they put EV charging stations on their lot, as long as it's the employees or maybe the consumers, then it's okay? Is that the same interpretation?
I don't think that the consumer, if you have any in that situation where you're gonna have consumers charging, then it becomes a service station, which is not allowed.
So it's the people that are coming to the lot, that's what
If
you're
I'm
talking
an
about.
employee of Web, you know, I have an electric car and I need to have it charged, then Web has given me a ID card or something that I can put in there. I can charge my car and then they charge me at the end of the week or at the end of the month, or however. And so to me, that is not a service station. If I'm incorrect, please correct me.
Mr. Jasmine.
So I think for the housing, let's be honest, there's nothing free. If you're charging, you're not gonna charge. I mean, it's no different than if an apartment house had coin-operated laundry. Well, we don't consider them to be a laundromat. It's only used by those people, and that's how they pay for it in the business model. So I think that it's a bit granular and a little bit of a rabbit hole.
Okay, thank you.
Going back to my earlier comment, language to the effect of personal use or employee use only. It clarifies who can use it, how it can be used, and
Well, yeah, you could, but you know, again, another rabbit hole like Mike was just talking about. A lot of, if it just says non-retail and they end up putting it retail, then Mrs. Jasmine, which just stepped out, to go down and say, you know, this is retail and it's not supposed to be retail and gotta get a variance or whatever you're gonna do about it. Rather than for personal use or so on and so forth, how are you gonna improve that one there? I think it's too much in there. Non-retail is non-retail, in my opinion there. Yes, sir.
Just the one question about when we're talking retail. So we take the Monadnock Food Co-op, they have 2 chargers going in there. You have to pay to use that charger. You're not getting it for free. As a customer, you have to pay. Is that considered a retail? If Market Basket comes in and puts in 2 chargers that you have to pay to use, does that make it a retail use?
It would.
Well, then they wouldn't ever put chargers at Market Basket.
They may.
Because they're not gonna give it away for free.
They aren't, but by that time, maybe the plan board would have changed it and it would have gone, or the town would change it, or they'd get a variance for it. Again, if there's a large influx of people wanting to put them in, going to the ZBA is gonna say to the planning board, you know, why aren't you guys working on this zoning for next year, because we're getting a lot of people in for this. Zoning and planning board to do it, hearings like we're doing now, and it'd be done.
I think it's just important that folks understand that there is an alternative process. If you're worried about installing a charger that you're gonna charge people, there is a way to do it.
As there is for anything else that does not go along with our zoning ordinance. That's how you do it.
do we have any idea how many EVs are registered in Swanzey?
We don't even need to know the idea.
Well, we need to know what the universe is.
We don't need to know how many EVs are registered in Swansea, because that's not going to tell us how many more are going to be registered next year or next week
It's
or
going to tell
whatever.
us what the demand is today.
It's not just people in Swansea that'll be using
I'm
charging
just-
stations, so.
We're looking at it from a planning board standpoint, and that is that so far, no one has come in begging us to put them in, you know. There hasn't been much interest. I'll get to you in a moment. So I think we're just pretty much into it. We just ought to maybe put non-retail electric vehicle charging station in there and move along. Yes, sir.
I just assume if you're going to apply for
Hey, could you just state your name for the
I just assume if you're gonna apply for a variance for an EV charging station, that whatever the charging station or what, I assume that with the variance, you'll be able to tell them whether it's non-resident or a resident area and put a cap on it, because the grid's gonna find out anyways in Swansea where the exact power is going to that and what it's costing the Swansea taxpayer. That way, you guys keep an order of what's going on with these grids. It's probably gonna be so regulated too. That's You know, what it's I'm a power saying. grid.
I think I just missed your point, but I think what you're saying is, well, the planning board looks at that stuff anyway, site plan.
Yeah.
This isn't for residential use, single family or anything like that. The planning board has no jurisdiction over residential. This is just strictly business, multifamily, things like that. And what you're saying is during site plan review, the planning board would be able to determine how many are going in there, I think is what you're talking about.
Yeah, and you'd be able to regulate it.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
that's generally how it's done. But as it stands right now, anybody, whether it's for non-retail or retail, who wants to put in a charging station has to go to the ZBA for a variance, because it's not allowed anywhere in the zoning.
Well, I misunderstood what she was saying, where she was talking about the future, you know, what EV stations in the future, and having control of that, that's what I was confused, and what we were arguing about. Or not arguing, discussing.
Yep. So, let's get back to that amendment there. Shall it be non-retail electric charging stations, or what Steve suggested? What's your suggestion, Steve?
Personal and/or employee use only.
Personal and/or employee use only. What shall it be? Brandon, what do you think?
Either one.
Either one, doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter.
What do you think?
I mean,
Okay.
honestly, I think either one is pretty self-explanatory. If you want to keep it short, sweet, and simple, non-retail.
Yeah.
I'd go for non-retail, it's the simplest
Yeah.
way. Richard?
I think it depends on how restrictive we want to be with it. Steve's suggestion is very much on point as far as what can and cannot. Non-retail is kind of sloppy. But I think, as you stated, that where we can come back year after year, if we need to change it to a more specific term, we can do that. But non would get us there, I think.
Victoria?
I'm going for brevity, anything would get us there.
Jane?
I'm going to abstain.
No, you can't. Come on.
Never heard that before.
Well, I'm going to say, I don't think it makes much difference. Non-retail, quick, short.
Okay, it looks like non-retail.
I have one more question.
Yes, go ahead.
I live in an apartment, and we have laundry facilities on premises. I have to buy a card to use the washer and the dryer. And I put in $20, and I can use it for so many washers and dryers. Is that retail?
No. Because someone off the street can't do it. You live there, you can do it, but it's someone that, yes, Mr. Jasmine? Tenant, no, it shouldn't, because we don't necessarily know if it's gonna be in a multifamily or if it's, this is strictly for just business zone, which is all the uses in the business zone. But again, if it does get passed, they have to come in front of the planning board, so for a site plan anyways, modification of site plan, and a lot of those issues would be addressed then. So I think we're at a consensus we'll put the word non-retail electric vehicle charging station, and especially since that was the intent when we discussed it several meetings prior. Okay, anything else on that? So proposed amendment number 10, amend section 5, article C in the zoning ordinance to alter the zoning of Village Business District 1 parcels located along Main Street into Village Business District 2. Parcels include that of map 109 lots 3, 83 through 86, 23 and 24. Map 108 includes lots 37 and 38 and 87 through 92. Map 110 includes lots 45, 46, 60 through 68 and 70. South of Christian Hill Road to the east of Summer Street includes map 233, lot 19. It doesn't mention North Winchester Street, which also is part of that, right? Because let's see here. Because what this is doing is this is rezoning. It's rezoning, again, like we talked about. Currently, Village Business District 1 is in West Swanzey, and these are all the lots they're talking about that it encompasses. And again, that's that side of Main Street, the mill, part of it. The mill, no, that's 2 now. But anyways, the place over here, Grove Street and North Winchester Street. So what this is saying is that those lots are going to be rezoned to Village Business 2. Now I'm trying to, let me just read through that again, because it's what we're talking about here, but it doesn't really say
Map
it.
109 is what's along Winchester.
Oh, that's map 109, okay, okay. So just to be clear to the voters reading it and stuff, we need to include basically where it is. These map numbers and lot numbers aren't going to mean a whole heck of a lot but North Winchester Street does, and that one on Grove Street, I don't know. That's already written into the zoning anyways, under a specific lot, so that's already included. Let's see. Now, let me just read number 11. We're still on number 10, but I'm reading number 11 here. That says amend section 5, articles C.1 and C.2 in zoning ordinance to update uses in Village Business District 2 permitted by issuance of a special exception. Okay, the following uses will be permitted. Okay, that has nothing to do with rezoning. The amendment 10 is for the rezoning of that area there. Just let me turn to our zoning here, because it says Article C, but I don't think. Go ahead.
Should we insert West Swanzey in that, somewhere along there, just to define it? Most people know what the streets are and stuff and where they're located, but just to
I wouldn't have an objection to it, because it does clarify it for, again, this is to help the voters understand what the heck is going on there. So I wouldn't have an objection to that. Section 5, Article C is. So yeah, Section 5, Article C is the Village Business District 2. That is Article C.
We're actually changing those uses from permitted by right to permitted only by special exception.
Yeah, I was just reading through that one. We're going to get to that one in a minute. I was just reading through that one just to see if it pertained to anything to number 10, because kind of have to clarify number 10 that, again, it's just another rezone article. What we're doing is, let's see, is that it's saying that Village Business 2 contains all of these lots and map numbers. Basically is what that is saying. Just trying to see how we could change that a bit. I may have Section 5, Article C in the zoning ordinance to rezone Village Business, that's what it should say, okay. Amend Section 5, Article C. No, because C is Business 2. I guess to include, because if it doesn't go through, it'd still be other uses. So how do we do that? Amend Section 5, Article C in the zoning ordinance to include, let's see. And we don't need the include zoning of Village Business 1. We don't need that. So cross that out. So to include parcels located along Main Street, okay, that flows a little bit better. Amend Section 5, Article C, sorry to repeat all this. Article C in the zoning ordinance to include parcels located along Main Street in West Swanzey into Village Business District 2. Yeah, that does it. Parcels include that of map 109, lots 3, 83 through 86, 23 and 24. Map 108 includes lots 37, 38, and 87 through 92. Map 110 includes lots 45, 46, 60 through 68, and 70. South of Christian Hill Road to the east of Summer Street includes map 233, lot 19. Okay, I think that clarifies it. Did you get that, Beverly? That it's just the beginning part of it, that just to clarify what it is.
I have.
Shall I
To
want me to read through it again?
rezoned to include parcels located along Main Street in West Swansea Village District 2. And I just have itemized rather than listing them. Do you want me to all list them all?
I'm just putting, I think we ought to have it that.
In minutes.
I'm contemplating whether we're saying rezone or include. Because it's.
Well, specific lots to be rezoned to include parcels along.
It's gonna be, if it goes through, it would be a rezoning of Main Street here, but we've already mentioned that before, but this is an amendment of Section 5, Article C. Section 5, Article C is Village Business District. So if we're talking about that in the zoning ordinance, if we're talking about that, amend Section 5, Article C in the zoning ordinance to include, because we already have a Business 2 in there. So we wanted to include the parcels located along Main Street, West Swansea, into Village Business District 2, and all those lot numbers there. Because if it doesn't go through, we still have some of down here by the mill, which is in Village Business 2. So that would have to stay that way. So we'd have to, I think, have it say include. Yes?
Once again, parcels include that map of 109 lots 83, 383 through 86, 23 and 24. Through or through and including?
It'd be including, so we could add the word including in there.
And the same thing with the next sentence.
And again, right, with what we're doing here is just clarifying that through 60, through and including 68 is what you're talking about too,
Yes.
correct? Yeah.
And then the same thing on the next sentence.
Through and including, yeah, through and including 87, through and including 92. So we'll put through and including, we'll put including after every place that says through.
Sounds like
How's that?
Sounds like a deal.
Okay. Oh, yes, sir. Just identify yourself for the record, please.
Yeah, well, I live on North Winchester. On the map 108, it says 87 through 92. That does belong on map 109.
Would you repeat that? I didn't hear you said
Yeah.
map 108, right?
Lots 87 through 92 on map 108. Those actually belong on map 109. I only know that because that's where I live.
Okay. All right. And I didn't get your name. We're waiting to get your name for the record.
Jay Wolf.
Jay Wolf?
Wolf.
Wolf. Jay Wolf.
And
That's on Winchester Street. And his comment was that lots 87 and 92, was it?
Through 92.
87 through 92 actually belong with map 108?
109.
Actually belong with map 109.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. But getting back to the through word through, we're going to put through and including after all of them, right? Just to make sure. Barbara.
Yes, so just to clarify, so right now, the mill is District 2, right?
Yeah.
And so we are making all of West Warren, well, not all, but we're gonna combine the districts into one district, they'll all be District 2.
Yep.
Okay, and I'm looking at the map, and I don't see, with the map that's handed out here today, I don't see Swanzey Street on here, but on our zoning map, Swanzey Street is part of the village district.
Swanzey Street is, now that's the one we're talking about, goes right behind the mill, correct?
Yeah.
Yep, and that's not in there, oh, you
Well,
must
it's
have
not
it.
on this map, that handout.
Okay. But again, that's another reason why we're adding lots and lot numbers and that type of thing, is rather than just say things on it, because it identifies it specifically. He's getting to the layers on it now.
So, yeah, you can see how it comes around the mill.
So the only one that we, and I remember correctly from the last here,
It's just a street. So
the option to remove this parcel, and this right here only goes along the roadway. And that's because the way the layer was overlaid, it did not actually touch any of these parcels, thus the roads are it's affected. Why it's important to say specifically those parcels are included. So if we would like to extend it, we could include these lots over there, that would, like, where the last name, choose that, take it out, if I remember correctly.
that's correct, yeah.
Okay, so they never were part of the district, is what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay, all right.
They might, the odd part about this is that they, like this corner lot right here, so that the line that has that lot, it's cut partially through, but the majority of it is within the residential lot. So that's why we opted to choose that as a residence district rather than what is district.
And one other question, along Schuylett Street, now you have extended the village district all the way to where it is Maple. Right now, it's half residential and half village district. I just wonder what the rationale is for extending that.
Oh, did we? It was, did we end up doing that or not?
Well, again, I'm just looking at the handout.
Yep.
The handout has it going all the way to the corner, you know, of Schuylett and Maple.
I think when we're looking at this, because this is village one right now, and it like went through those lots. What we're talking about is going this way, right there. That's including that entire lot, not all the way to Maple Street.
Okay, now while I'm talking about
If that's on the map, I know, but
this.
we're talking talking about this right here?
Yeah, this right here.
That's one whole lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we
That's why.
entirely.
Okay.
There's not 4 lots, I don't know what the 15. I know it's 15. Okay.
The effect that you're doing is cleaning up split lots in terms of zoning.
In the, yeah, when it'll just come to the end of those lots, not all the ways down to Maple Street though, like, except the other one is one whole lot, like you just said.
Cleaning up split lots.
Yeah.
But it's also doing, in case people want to be curious as well, you'll notice that there are lots that it doesn't perfectly align with all of them, right? So this lot is cut to pieces, and so all that does is make it extremely difficult for people to utilize their land because certain areas of their lot don't allow to do certain things. So that's why it's clarifying the connection. The same thing is happening in North Swanzey as well. It's like that, just people don't see that.
Yep. So, are we good with Amendment 10 about the rezoning? So what would end up actually, if it's passed, all that's in light blue now would be that purple, which designates Village Business 2. Okay, nothing else on that 10. Okay, amendment number 11, amend section 5, articles C.1 and C.2 in zoning ordinance to update uses in Village Business District 2, permitted by issuance of a special exception. The following uses will be permitted by special exception. It is manufacturing facility, research and testing, laboratories, utility generation, wholesale, warehouse or storage facilities with office, repair, and customer service areas. These uses here were allowed outright in that business 2. So the planning board, with changing business 2 to this area of town here, is proposing that those uses be moved to a special exception, which is a little bit more of a step to do to utilize a piece of land with those uses on it. That's why it's like that. Right now, like I say, it's a current use. You can use it that way. If this goes through, it'll be a special exception. Just move to that category. I think that explains it. Okay. Any questions on that one there? So, yes, sir, just your name, just for the minutes, please.
Nathan Day. Question about that, use by special exception, is that allow the landowners in the area, when these are being reviewed, to speak into it?
It does, it allows them to speak to it first with the zoning board of adjustment, because they will issue a special exception or won't, one or the other. And if it does get a special exception, then to the planning board, when the planning board reviews it as a site plan. So twice in that case. Let's see, I think number 11, that was it. So.
And that says 12 on the side. Last week.
Are we addressing the thing in the race at the end of the information?
So that would have been, when they were talking about retail, EV charging, that was when that was included. I attempted to bring this number 12 to the planning board at the last public hearing. And so, I'm sorry, the last meeting of the planning board. That's why this is that whole thing.
So there is no.
So there is no addressing to that. That's why, this was important to mention number 9, or what 7, I think that's number 9. It's
Just
about.
that. You're finished.
Bring it up again, that's not.
So, I'm so confused, I wish we didn't.
What is it, Barbara?
I'm sorry. It's
That's
that
all right.
We thought there was another amendment.
And what does it say the amendment is?
The amendment says that electric vehicle charging stations are permitted in every zoning district.
That's an accessory.
When
Oh,
accessory
that's
is
that-
the primary permitted use.
That's that letter, right?
Well,
Or
I
no?
guess, but our letter gives a
No,
different
it's not that.
number.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, those, they had never been discussed like that. We discussed EV stations, but we decided to put it in the business, as a use permitted in the business zone for this particular, I guess, change in zoning or a proposed change in zoning. Those uses like that, the planning board did not discuss and agree upon at any of the meetings that we were at. That just was not part of the discussion. It was these zoning amendments here. We had a few more zoning amendments, but we tried to keep them down to a minimum, sort of a minimum there. But they were not discussed, so that's why they are not here at the public hearing.
The origin of that is that at the Energy Commission, we had discussed the idea, so I asked to put it on to the warrant articles at the last planning board meeting for them to discuss, but we didn't have a format for the meeting. So that's why this came out as it, because that was for the last planning board meeting. And so whenever it was on, that's why we went through it. Versus this particular discussion, that's why we created the letter of the Energy Commission to bring it to this meeting, so that we could say, we know you weren't able to discuss it in another hearing, here's your public hearing, we'd love. That's the motion.
So, but right now, the public hearing, there's no public hearing. I mean, we were just saying that we would like to see it as a permitted use throughout all districts, but.
The public hearing that we're in right now just pertains to these 11 amendments that we had been discussing for weeks prior to this. So, Julius, when is the time up for zoning amendments to be placed by petition, or is that already passed?
Yes, the petition ones have already passed for review.
Okay,
So it's too late for that.
It's too late for that.
But that doesn't mean that, say, as you know, if the planning board wanted to host a second public hearing on this, we have the first meeting in January, that we can still hold a second hearing if you feel so necessary.
Okay.
So you're saying that today they could accept this amendment, I mean, what's listed as 12?
Correct.
And then have a second public hearing on it in January?
We'll have to have at least one meeting of the planning board prior to that public hearing discussing another zoning amendment to go before the voters. It can't just be brought up at the public hearing and be done that way. It has to be brought up at the planning board, discussed with the public, duly owned a meeting, and then brought to a public hearing.
So can we bring it to you today?
Probably not. Not right now. At this meeting, you can bring it to Julius over at the land use office there. Bring it like that. But tonight, we're doing just what's on the agenda, which is these 11 items here. It wasn't on the agenda because the planning board didn't vote it to be on the agenda. The planning board had several meetings on zoning over the course of the last few months. And these 11 items were voted to be on to the hearing for the agenda for this hearing.
So I just want to be clear that as Energy Commission, we're just concerned that the planning board is aware that EV charging is going to be more prevalent in the future. But it sounds like what you're telling us is there are ways to make these things happen, just not totally simple ways.
Which we discussed as the planning board was discussing this whole thing about EV, and that's how that got on this, whichever amendment it is, that's how it got on there. As we discuss EV stations and where they should be, where they shouldn't be. And throughout that discussion, it was brought up that so far there hasn't been anyone wanting to put them in yet. And there's also always the variance, which you can go through. It's an extra step, but you can go through it anyways. And if you get the approval, then that's fine. And it still is, that's the way all the time. And again, next year, if it comes up and it gets put on, gets voted on by the voters, then it will be an allowable use in whatever district it's allowed in or isn't allowed in.
So that would be something maybe we can work on with you guys as going forward.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next year, but if somebody like Telsey you're talking about comes in, they just go to the ZBA. That's what they're there for. So, any more discussion on the 11 zoning amendments we had tonight? Because I'm going to close the public hearing, and once that's closed, we won't take any more testimony about the zoning amendments. The planning board is going to deliberate and take a vote on it. So it's now or never. Okay. So
I just want to make a statement. Out of these 11 amendments, I would proposal, and certainly through the collaborative process to refine that to where it is today. So
we thank you for that. We appreciate hearing that because we've heard a lot of things that weren't so nice.
I I say that outside.
Okay. So again, no more from the public, right? Because I'm going to close the public hearing. There will be no more. Okay, then I'm going to close the public hearing. So, planning board, we can take all of these amendments and vote on them all at the same time, or if anybody has a problem with them, we could take one off. I'm suggesting that.
I'll make a motion that we take them all at once.
Okay, so.
I'll second that.
So, motion by Michael York to put all the zoning amendments, all 11 zoning amendments on the ballot for 2024. Is that your motion? Okay. And just a second, we have a second by Brandon, seconded, okay.
As edited.
As edited, thank you, yes, as edited, because that's right. We're gonna clarify some of those paragraphs there to read a little bit clearly. It's not gonna change the meaning of it. If it did, we wouldn't do this, but we're just gonna clarify it, and we'll do it before next meeting, just in case anybody has an objection to what's in the wording there. But for now, we'll take a vote to put these on the warrant for 2024. So all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay, so we've moved on from that.
Mr. Chairman, can I have just a minute to address the crowd?
You may.
First of all, I want to thank everyone for coming forward. This is your town as well as our town. We love the participation that we've got. We need to hear from you what you want, how you want to develop your town. Now, I also want to inform you, I track legislation very closely when it comes to land use. There is a new bill coming out that's a remake of the old bill we defeated last year, HB 44. This new bill is even worse. It's 1291. What it says is you can take in the residential area 4 houses on a 1 acre lot, okay, which is going to increase your density tremendously. And the last one was it had to be on public water and sewage. This one doesn't, as long as you have adequate water supply and as long as the septic system that's present can handle the flow according to the state, then you can build there.
So what is that, the number of that?
HB 1291.
And you're informing the public
to whatever your feelings on it, however you feel about it, you should contact your legislator and let them know how you feel.
Who's the primary sponsor?
I don't know who the sponsors are. I didn't get that far into it today. I just got this notice from the legislator today. To me, it really doesn't matter who the sponsor is. I don't like to know.
Contact the sponsor.
HB what?
I wrote a letter to every legislator in the thing.
1291.
1291.
That's statewide.
Yes, that would be a state law, and it would be a law that says we could write a zoning amendment addressing it, but it wouldn't matter much because it's a state law.
Okay, moving to our next item, which is item B. This is planning board number 23-027. That's a boundary line adjustment.
Did we go on this motion?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
You shouldn't though.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I know I didn't.
Thank you for your patience.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that's a DiBernardo Associates LLC on behalf of Rob John LLC requests review of a boundary line adjustment for properties located along Base Hill Road. Subject properties are currently shown at tax map 203 lots 22 and 23 in the business district. So that must be you.
Yep, yeah, for the record, I'm Joe DiBernardo Associates.
Okay, Joe, and we have it noted as a public hearing, so let's just open up the public hearing officially and have a look to see what you have.
Yep, I have the finished plans here that weren't ready at the time that the application was submitted, so I passed these out.
Okay. Let's slide one up this way. We'll share at this end of the table here. You have only one more for or one for yourself.
The angle will be this way.
no, I'm good.
What's your first name again? Mike and Mike. Mike and Mike. Two people.
You want me to start it, start the presentation, or?
Everybody ready for the presentation? Yeah, just give us a brief synopsis of what you're doing here.
Sure.
Just
So
point it out on the map so we can see.
Yep, we're working for Rob John LLC.
Okay.
Property's located on.
Just like,
Excuse me, Mr. DiCanardo, do you spell that with a D-I or a D-E?
DI.
D-I, that's
Yeah.
what I thought, it was wrong there.
Yep.
Thank you.
So the property, Rob John owns two properties on Base Hill Road. It's map 52, lot 18, and map 52, lot 19. The gist of what happened is they put a shed and a well on lot 19, and they wanted it to be on lot 18 because that's their operation business.
oh, I see, that little corner right there, yeah, I got you.
Yeah, it's cross-hatched.
Yep,
So the dashed line, you can see there's an arrow, it says former property line. That dashed line is the existing boundary. So the lot was, kind of came in and squared off. So now what we're proposing to do is to jog around the shed and the well to add that to the bigger parcel lot 18, which is the Arlington paving business.
that's Arlington paving right there, that
Yeah.
lot 18, that's
Yeah,
them?
that's the
Oh,
business
okay.
right there, yeah.
So that'll add it to them right at the corner there. So you're cutting out that corner from lot 19 and putting it over to lot 18.
Right, and then we had to steal a little sliver right off of Base Hill Road, right here, off of lot 18 to make it conforming to the minimum lot size of 1 acre. We stole that.
That would be right here, annexed from,
yeah.
and to be annexed right there. So you just move that here. I got, yeah, dash line is the original one. You've got the pin coming here to add to here. And it was, oh yeah, because that was only 1 acre. Yeah, I see what you're doing there. Pull that from there, so that doesn't hurt those guys at all. Frontage wise, doesn't hurt this.
DOT.
Down in here, down about there somewhere. DOT. Yeah, about in there's a location map right there. So
It's confusing because it's the two numbering systems, right? So on our new map,
Storage
it's
area.
lot.
It's further north.
In our new numbering system. it's
It would be, yeah.
22. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, okay, yeah. It's here,
Let's see, is 1 inch equal 50 feet? Is that what you're at right there? I'm looking to see what you've left for a setback here. If you've got 30 feet or
Setback is
not.
on there, we show that dash line coming in.
On the shed there?
Yeah, it comes
Where
right
do you
through
see
the
that?
well. See that line that goes right through the well? And it runs right along the edge of the shed, and then it
Yeah.
turns and heads north right
I
along
see
the
that.
shed, up to where that Z is.
You're talking about this line here?
Yeah.
That's the well, talking
That's a
about that line.
setback. That's a setback line type.
Yeah.
So.
Is this the scale? Can I measure off of that?
That runs, right, yep, you can measure that, that's 50.
But the setback I'm talking about is setback there and the setback there,
Yeah.
not here.
Right, it's coming in to the corner of the shed, it's right off the shed, and then it comes to the north.
This distance right here
Yep,
is what?
it's the 20 feet.
Oh, that, you've got 20 feet there?
Yeah, 20 feet on both sides.
50
We made it
feet.
conforming.
I'm sure you did, because you certainly did it right. 50 foot
Definitely
scale?
20 feet. Then 600 square feet.
I see.
And also, he said he's fully fine with the shed. Yeah, so.
Public notice, yeah.
Oh, so if he doesn't have it, he'll move the shed there?
And this is 22.
But he also doesn't
Now.
know because of the
That's what
square
this
footage of the
is.
shed.
Okay,
Yes.
All right.
New numbering, yeah.
That's what I got now.
then never mind, okay.
The wall radius has been impacted by
No, because all the buildings are further north, you only need 75 feet, and then the house for that is.
Everybody see what's going on right here?
Yeah.
Adding that in there and taking that out of there. It's pretty straightforward. Reasoning is straightforward.
Did the new mapping prompt this?
No, that shed did.
No, we drilled a well on the wrong parcel.
Okay.
Okay, is anybody from the public here on this? This is the Base Hill lot line adjustment. Nope. Okay, any questions from the board for the applicant? If not, I'm going to close the public hearing. No objections, and the public hearing is closed. And again, it's,
Point of order, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
are you discussing the street?
no, we don't do that. Yeah, it's just a simple boundary line
It
adjustment.
said it in the,
I know it did, and we normally don't have a public hearing. It's usually at the meeting, but it said public hearing, so we should have a public hearing. So, again, it's pretty, laid out pretty straightforward. Surveyor, stamp is on there, north, everything looks good, so if there are no objections, then a motion to approve the lot line adjustment would be in order.
I'll make the motion that we approve it.
Okay, a motion by Brandon to approve the lot line adjustment for Base Hill Road. Is there a second? Seconded by Richard Lang. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay.
All set?
Yep, you're approved.
So I'll look in the Mylar.
Bring it, yep, to the land use office and we'll get it signed and,
Perfect, thank you very much.
Want these back?
You can have them, do you want them all? Not take them?
You can take that.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Now, our next item, item C, planning board number 23-029. That's another boundary line adjustment. Fieldstone Land Consultants on behalf of Benjamin Steiner, Clyde L. Keene Jr., and Carol Cooper request a boundary line adjustment at properties located along Westport Village Road. Subject properties are currently shown at tax map 246, lot 73 and 74 in the residential district. And see, I thought I saw him in here. Is he here? He isn't here. He's not here for this, is he? I thought I saw him come in earlier in the meeting, maybe not. Wasn't it Bergeron that was here for this one?
You and Brandon?
Was it? No, I thought it was,
Westport Village should be Chad.
oh, is Chad doing this? Oh, it's Fieldstone. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, so no, he isn't here. So we'll skip over that one. Item D, planning board number 23-020, site plan review. This is continued from September 14th, 2023. That's Fieldstone Land Consultants, PLLC, on behalf of All Purpose Storage Swanzey West LLC. Request site plan review for construction of a multi-tenant services facility to be leased to various service businesses at 115 Base Hill Road. Property is currently shown at tax map 52, lot 16 in the Rural Ag District and Business District. So as probably everyone knows, the Zoning Board of Adjustment, we're waiting for the Zoning Board of Adjustment to decide whether the Planning Board erred or not in saying that service businesses are allowed in the business district. That's what we've all been waiting for. So the ZBA met on Monday night. I was there. Richard was there too, I think.
Sitting beside him.
Yeah, that's right. You were. Yeah. Well, you're hard to miss. Big guy. So what the ZBA did was they only had a quorum there. They had 4 people there. So they allowed the applicant to decide whether or not they wanted a full board to decide on their issue or not. And the applicant said yes, they wanted a full board. So now it's been continued. Actually, they didn't even open it up, but I guess you would call it continued until their meeting. I'm not sure, was it the 15th of January?
So actually, you're exactly right, Scott. So they actually chose to change it to what would be the 8th of January.
Okay, they moved it up, okay.
And there will be a re-notice for the hearing as well.
For this one, for our board?
Not for ours,
yeah,
but for the ZBA.
Okay.
So they will have to re-notice this one. It was
So
supposed to be the 15th, is now the 8th.
they're gonna hear it on the 8th, and hopefully they'll have enough people here to hear the whole thing. So let me just get yeah, are we meeting on the 11th? I think we are meeting on the 11th, aren't we?
Yes.
Yeah, the 11th. Okay, so we'll need a motion to continue this planning board number 23-020, continue it until January 11th without further notice.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion by Richard to that effect, seconded by Brandon. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed?
What was the date again? I'm sorry.
The 11th, January 11th.
Don't take as fast as you can
Oh,
speak.
sorry, I need to slow down, right?
I think we should also include as well that we have reached the end of our 90-day clock for making a decision on this project.
Yep.
So we cannot continue this hearing
have to ask for that extension, and I did get a request from Chad to extend it until the 11th meeting.
Okay.
So just for the
Yep.
record.
If they don't, right, extend the timeframe, which I'm sure they will, but if they don't, then it'll still be scheduled for the public anyways for that meeting, and then it'll have to be canceled then.
And we would have to make a decision on the 11th ourselves?
It can be.
You don't have to.
As long as he wants to, and that's good.
Well, depends.
You
Okay.
know what I meant there, buddy.
I know what you meant, all right, okay. So let's see. Item number E, which is planning board number 23-028, that's a multi.
Did you have a vote? on the
Oh,
motion?
no, I didn't. Oh,
Okay,
sorry about that, that's right.
okay.
Oh, no, we did have the vote.
Yes, we
Yeah,
did.
we did have the vote, yeah, it was all in favor.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, item E, which is planning board number 23-028, multi-tenant application. DSM Realty and the New Hampshire Liquor Commission request multi-tenant review for operation of a retail sales liquor outlet at the existing commercial building located at 11 West Swanzey Road. Subject property is currently shown at tax map 204 lot 4 in the commercial industrial district. So, I think that must be you.
Yep. In the
Okay.
absence of Stan, left at the office. We got a borrowed chair here.
May I have your name for the
Yep.
record, please?
So good evening. For the record, my name is Tom Burns. We're the civil engineering consultants that work with Burns, B-U-R-N-S. We're a civil engineering firm in Bedford. We're the consultants that work with DSM Realty Market Basket on a number of their New Hampshire locations. So the application that's before you this evening is to propose a multi-tenant change of use for an existing retail unit that's adjacent to the Market Basket site.
And I'm just going to hold you up right there because this is going to be a public hearing. So just before we get started there, we're just going to open up the public hearing and you can continue.
All right.
Okay, the public hearing is officially open. Thank you.
Okay. So again, the application that's before the board this evening is for a multi-tenant change of use for the existing retail unit that's adjacent to the current Market Basket facility. This is approximately 19,000 square feet of retail. This was formerly a Sears home use that was in here. It's been vacant for a couple of years. We were before the board with a site plan application in September for landscape review and then for administrative approval in October to do some improvements to the site adjacent to this location. And that would be to pave the gravel parking area now and to pave the existing access drive out here now. And so the application this evening is for architecture for the building and for the tenant change. So the applicant is proposing to lease the space to State Liquor Commission for a liquor retail store, similar to what they do in a number of the Market Basket locations throughout the state, as well as in other retail plazas. Will give you a better idea of what it looks like. So what they're proposing is kind of consistent with their branding and their identity in the state and a number of their locations. Is a similar look to the building. They would do an interior retrofit to suit the retail use, and then this would be the exterior improvements that they're proposing to the building. So via clapboard siding with a timber frame for the canopy over the entranceway. The building, again, it would occupy the existing retail space that was in there, so no increase in the footprint of it, just reusing what's there now. They estimate that they would have about 25 employees that would be at this facility, at the site. And they expected no more than 10 per shift that would be in here. They would expect that they're going to operate during what their kind of their normal business hours are for the liquor stores. It varies from site to site, but the majority of their stores, they run somewhere around 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Saturday, and then Sundays they say that they're typically 10 to 5. Some locations they have slightly different hours, but that's generally how they've operated throughout the state with their sites. They expect at this site, this location, they're estimating about 800 customers per day would come through the site. There would be a mix of people coming directly to here as well as people that are already coming to the site from Market Basket. that would then visit the site as well.
That's combined, you mean that's combined with Market Basket and this new use, or this is above and beyond what's coming
That
from
would
Market
be,
Basket now?
so it would be what's typically generated for this use, but when we look at it in terms of like, in terms of traffic, and when you have a multi-tenant plaza, there's always a certain amount of internal capture. And that can be, it can vary depending upon uses. We see some of them that it's 20% of is overlap of other customers, some of it's up to 50% of overlap. It all depends, and that's why they tend to target going into plazas like this and working with groups like Market Basket, because they see a lot of overlap in customer base. So that's why it's a great location for them to come into, because they'll end up sharing on customer base. We did submit a traffic analysis and a traffic memo to Julius and to the planning department for this. We generally estimate over what was previously approved for the site, and over what was here with the previous retail use, we'd estimate about 88 new trips in a peak hour. So it's 1 to 2 trips per minute additional to the site coming in and out. And that was in line with the numbers they gave us. So we did our trip analysis. The traffic engineer reviewed based off of ITE what they would estimate for this use, what would come in for trips, and then we subsequently got the estimates from from the Liquor Commission for what they estimated for trips, and they're well within line with what we estimate. If anything, we're conservative with our numbers, because they're estimating approximately 70 customers an hour roughly, and we carried up to like 150 in our numbers to generate how many trips we thought. So we're actually pretty conservative with our numbers. But overall, it's not we're not proposing any changes to the intersection, to the entrances relative to this. We don't expect any impact. Again, it's 1 to 2 cars per cycle or per minute out there. So that's during a peak hour. And so it's not really going to have much of an impact on the site of what's there today.
And you're figuring with the new parking area to the left right there,
yeah,
that's going to be primarily for
we would anticipate it's primarily
employees park there now, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah, they use it for employee parking, but they have ample parking on the site. I think they've just been using it out of convenience.
They have a lot behind the store here too,
yes,
right?
They
a
do.
lot of parking back there.
Yeah. Originally when the plan in 2009, when the site plan was done, that area where the parking was, there was going to be an additional standalone building that was approved there.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then in 2011. We came back before the board and we proposed to eliminate that standalone building, which was going to be a pharmacy, and then it was proposed to be 2 buildings. It was going to be a retail building and a bank. And the parking that we're proposing to pave, it's basically they took the improvements that were shown on that plan in 2011 and they said, okay, we're going to construct the parking that's over the gravel now. We're going to construct that parking, and that was what we came in the fall with a proposal for. They had back in 2011, what they did was they brought the parking area and the southerly access, it's an exit only, right turn out only. They brought that up to gravel subgrade. And one of the conditions of approval was that they weren't going to build the new buildings out there until when and if they could find a tenant for those buildings. And to date, they never found somebody that was interested in taking those out parcels and building those standalone buildings. So they've been using the parking, and they decided they were going to pave the parking. And in the meantime, while they were looking at doing that, they were talking with the Liquor Commission, and they were interested in taking this. So it kind of works out that they'll end up likely utilizing that parking, or maybe a mix of some of the employees will still park there and then customer parking. But there's no concern for parking on the site because they have more than enough uses.
Yeah, there's a lot of parking there.
Yes.
And deliveries out back. Yeah, you can go all the way around that building out back. All the deliveries are going to be out back.
Correct. It'll continue to be out back. Yeah. Yes, and part of the plans, and I did bring the site plans from the fall. I can show, but on this, actually, you can see it actually on the aerial as well. So this is the delivery area here, the loading areas, and they're going to continue to utilize that for the back of the building. So this will be where that entrance is, where you see the timber. It'll be right on the corner here.
That's the area. That's where I'm worried about this, frankly. And I'm a frequent shopper at Market Basket. Okay, I'm there multiple times a week. And that corner, where we're sort of trained to sort of stop before we go out onto the highway, it's a really I'm concerned about circulation, okay, on the lot. And my first thought is, would you entertain the idea of having the entrance face what's currently the gravel parking area? So that would encourage people who are going exclusively to the liquor store to park on the,
So what
to
they're,
the left.
so the site is, the improvements that were approved back in October included a new pedestrian crossing through here, with signage and baller, well, they have, they're gonna have the parking over here, they had, the crosswalks were proposed through here. The intent would be to have the entrance facing the roadway, because that's gonna be the visibility. They're not proposing any freestanding signage or anything out to the road to inform passersby that the liquor store is gonna be here. So the idea would be that's where the branding, that's where the frontage would face.
Yeah, I
would
get
face the
that.
road.
I just, can we think outside of the box for a second, though? I'm just, Market Basket is busier by the week, you know? I mean, it's a really, really busy place, okay? Don't you experience that?
It's gonna get busier when the new apartment finishes.
Yeah, so it's already there's a fair amount of pandemonium going on there, which I contribute to. But, you know, if we could encourage the people who are shopping there at the liquor store to not like sort of add to the parking that's direct, everybody wants to park as close as possible to the door where they're going, right? And, I mean, don't you experience that?
They're gonna park wherever they want, like they do now.
Yeah.
You know, that store isn't being used at all, and that parking lot is used in front of that store there.
Exactly, so what I'm saying is if we could encourage them to just keep on driving straight and park along the other face of the store.
Entrance or no entrance, I don't know that they have room to put that entrance on that left side of that building there, but entrance or no entrance, people are still gonna park
People don't
everywhere they
park,
want.
They just abandon their car.
Excuse me?
People don't park, they just abandon their car.
But I think there's a fair amount of visibility there, you know, when you come out, I know the space you mean, when you're supposed to stop there, you usually aren't looking to the right, because there's never anything coming that way.
Right, we're not trained to do
But I
that.
know there might be, I don't know, something, caution or yield or something you could put there.
Signs like they have in Keene, the traffic only goes one way, but they say, look to your left. or
Yeah.
look to your right at the crosswalk, like you don't know
But
enough.
in that light, is there any way in that parking area parallel to the building, this new one here, of exiting only off your more southerly, or yes,
Coming out through here?
Yeah, or just, somehow coming out without going back through the existing intersection. I think that's what Victoria's trying to.
Well,
Yeah,
some people, they need to use that intersection, right? Because some
Yeah.
people are
They
gonna
wanna
go to
go
Keene.
to Keene.
Yeah, and you can't take a left.
I'm just
I think
saying,
the area that
we're
Victoria's
concerned
talking
about the extra
It's the end of the building.
vehicle coming
Right
from the
there.
liquor
Yeah.
store parking lot. If you made it a loop, you can only go exit one direction, going west and then coming east, not coming through that existing intersection that you're talking about.
Yeah, I think you lost me, yeah, point it out what you're talking about.
Because my concern would be if we restrict internal movements, then.
Yeah, if we, from this parking lot here, came this way, or only exited like this, you take away or concerns about the intersection here. So I mean, if you come in like this, come into the parking area, but only exit out that.
But then you're restricting now, you have to take a right every time, no, that's not
I know
good.
that's existing now, but we're talking about putting a rotary in there too.
But I don't think that's gonna happen. That rotary is gonna happen.
No.
Making a left out of there, like he's proposing, if you're gonna make a left out of there, there are peak traffic hours, you're gonna be sitting there a while, because there's no light there. The light's
No,
up the road.
That's gotta be right only, like they've had it right only.
It's gotta be right only.
And, right, the other intersection with the light in it is the way to get out of there.
That's the way I read it.
So
I mean, we are proposing, I mean, we do have signage and stop bars proposed in here. That was part of the plan that was submitted previously, was to control that intersection. It's hard for me to justify to them that we would restrict internal movement on the site or
Okay.
restrict an entrance location.
How about, I'm concerned for traffic at that intersection, but I'm also concerned about people, okay? Because we're trained, to look for people back where they're exiting the grocery store. But there's gonna be a lot of people coming out of that store and, as pedestrians going into the parking area that's directly in front of them. I'm just saying, that's a really busy place for
It's
us
set up
now.
pretty well, though, what else are they gonna do? Yeah, there are pedestrians around there, and there are around Market Basket now, and there has been a store in there prior to that. Sears was in there.
Yeah, but Sears was a quiet place
It
compared
was,
to a
but I
state
mean,
liquor store.
people have to take responsibility too, of the pedestrians and the people driving there for what they're doing, not just barreling through there and somebody, somebody might get hit, right? You look at me like that, but still, there is a certain amount of responsibility people have. The layout, to me anyways, the layout is there, has been there, and it works. There's plenty of room for pedestrians to walk, and they do have several crosswalks in there that pedestrians go through. And
Is there a crosswalk indicated where you leave the state liquor store?
We're proposing a crosswalk. There's a
No. Any other views on this? Anybody from the public on this? Market Basket? No, nobody. Then,
Can you put in a second crosswalk, kind of like in the middle of where the building would be?
it is, it's right there.
Further up.
up in here.
Yeah.
Oh, back there.
There's no sidewalk.
Nobody's gonna be walking back
Yeah,
there.
there's-
Yeah, that's where all the.
You've got parking back there.
The entrance is in the front there. though.
Right,
You've
there's
got a
no sidewalk.
crosswalk.
You've got parking back there.
But
and
he's got a
people-
crosswalk right
Some
there.
people may,
All right, you're shut off.
You're
Shut off.
There's
may
a,
walk a red place.
There's just landscaping on that curve. There's no sidewalk going to the west.
well, there's no comments from the public. I'm going to, any more questions for the applicant? Because I'm gonna close the public hearing.
Is this, a point of order, is this a completion of the application or we're skipping that phase?
We're skipping those, no,
Okay.
yeah, application, no.
Okay, thank you.
So this is just the closing of the public hearing.
Okay.
Again, a multi-tenant application. So I don't know of anything we can do with the, as far as the traffic goes through there.
We can't really approve it, we can just say, okay.
Well, no, we can, it's a building that's there, it's been there, it's been used as a business. And to not approve it because of traffic issues with site through there makes you wonder why the planning board approved the other business.
Yeah, I'm not objecting to the use or anything like that, I'm just saying heads up, because if there's anything you can do to, help people be safe in that parking
Traffic
area.
signs, is that they're gonna put traffic signs up there?
Yeah, just be aware, I mean, maybe spend a day sitting there watching what happens, it's a busy place. And people come from far away to shop at that store, and they're not necessarily frequent flyers like, all of us in this room, so that's just a tricky corner, I'm just saying, so please be advised.
When you're driving there, you have to have your head on a swivel, because people come out of the stores, they don't look.
No
They
kidding,
walk in front
yeah,
of you.
they sure do.
So that's why as drivers,
Yeah.
we have to be extra cautious.
Exactly.
Yeah, and as you should be, driving that car around there like that, especially your truck.
Bam!
So, it looks like a pretty good addition to Market Basket up there. And anybody have any objections to that going in there, other than safety issues? I don't either, pretty straightforward, so a motion to approve the multi-tenant. I already did, yeah.
I make the motion that we approve.
Motion by Brandon to approve the multi-tenant, seconded by Michael York. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Good luck to you.
Thank you.
I don't have to drink anymore. I won't be going here. It's a helicopter party.
Okay, now, We are to item number F, which is planning board number 23-030. That's a multi-tenant application. Brian McCormick, on behalf of Swanzey Homestead Offices LLC, requests a multi-tenant review for operation of a professional office space at the existing commercial building at 217 Old Homestead Highway. Subject property is currently shown at tax map 105, lot 1 in the business district. And that would be you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you have just a multi-tenant, so it says public hearing, so we're gonna have a public hearing. I'm gonna open up the public hearing. Public hearing is open. So yes, sir.
Well, proposing to
Your name,
the
sir?
third floor.
Oh, your name, please, for the-
Brian McCormick,
Thank you, Mr. Stone.
Thank you.
proposing the third floor of the Swanzey Homestead offices, for a radio station, in studios.
Be broadcasting out of there?
Broadcast 104.9 FM, WYOI radio.
Is that over the internet?
That's pretty much the extent of it.
Okay. Pretty
Check with the airport regarding any
Yeah, I saw that in our packet there. That
problems
just
with
in
it.
case.
No problems with the FAA.
Any questions from the board? Pretty straightforward. Anybody here from the public have questions on this? Yeah, okay.
At least it's gonna be good music, unless someone's crapping something.
Large loyal audience. Thank you. People who sponsor as well.
Okay, then
Is there a station called?
it's 104, was it 104?
104.9 FM.
And if there's no comment from the public, from the board, then I'm gonna close the public hearing and we will deliberate. Another straightforward proposal. I think it's a pretty good idea.
I move
Good for them.
we approve it.
A motion by Michael York to approve the multi-tenant application. Is there a second? Seconded by Richard Lane. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Now, the last one is planning board number 23031, and that's a Honda dealership site plan application. Nanoc Land Planning, on behalf of Kate Donovan LLC, requests a site plan review for construction of an external service building at the property located at 567 Monadnock Highway. The property is currently shown at tax map 222 lot 30 in the business district. And let's take a look here. So first of all, we have the application to look at and consider, and if we deem the application is complete, we can go directly to public hearing if we wish, or postpone it, whatever we want to do. So, have a look at the application here. That's up there. Would you just run down the checklist and point it at your drawing? Thank you. And just state your name, of course, for our record. So you know, man.
Dave Bergeron from Monadnock.
You gotta be official.
This is the sheet, name and address of the owner, of course, on the cover sheet, tax map and lot number is on the second page. Most of the information is in the checklist, a lot of information in the checklist. Second page, because this is a note page with general notes for the property. property. Every page also has a north arrow on it. The address of the plan preparer is on the first page, part of the cover sheet. Actually, the engineer was SE Associates, Liza, Sergeant from SE Associates, so sketch is on the plan. The vicinity sketch is on, I think it's on the, actually, it's on the cover sheet also. Yep. Vicinity sketch on the cover sheet. Sheet F1, I think, is a large scale showing all the areas around the property, and the butters adjacent to the site, all the things of all the butters on the property around the site. Also, the physical features of the land within 200 feet. Permitting the boundary, perimeter is on here, and the meets and bounds are marked. Shape and size of the existing locations are on here, buildings are on here, and the identification of the access points are shown. They're kind of very light to see what they are. There's a driveway location there and a driveway location there, and then off of There is no landscaping plan. We've asked for a waiver for landscaping plan because there's no changes to the landscaping. The reason being is that the actual location of the proposed new building is back here behind the existing building, and it's not a building that's going to be accessible by the public. It's just a private work building for additional service bays for Honda dealerships and for the other dealerships. So we're not making any changes to the landscaping plan. The lighting is also shown on the plan. We also have, as part of the set, like that last sheet in the set, is a lighting sheet showing the area where the building is going to go, and new lighting around the building. Natural features of basically it's a flat site. The tree lines are shown on here. Retention pond for the property is here, and there's paved areas and back areas pretty much all open. The existing proposed grades are also shown on site C.1, I believe it is. C.1 or C.2. Actually, C.2. There's a grading plan showing the grades around what's proposed for the new buildings. It's pretty, like again, as I said, it's a fairly flat site. There's a lot of changes to the grading in this location. The water service is shown also on the property. This building will be serviced by a new line, and that well is also shown. The well is actually right here. The water service is here. Septic system, I'm not sure whether that's shown on here. Septic system is an existing septic system, and I believe it's up in this location up here on the site, but it was there right here. Surface drainage plan, surface drainage and management is shown again on that show sheet C1. That shows the area where the addition is going to be, and that shows the drainage in that area. Everything's draining back to the existing retention pond. Again, we're requesting a waiver of the septic system plan because we're not making any changes to the septic plan, and that's existing on site. The well is shown on the site, like we showed you where the well was. This plan also shows the soil survey lines. These are the soil survey boundary lines, and the key here for the soil survey is right here. We're also asking for a waiver because there are the easements, because there are no easements and no proposed easements. And we did include a copy of architectural plan for the elevation of the application.
Great, thank you.
Before we go any further, I don't understand. What is a reconditioning bay? What happens in a reconditioning?
Let's approve the application
Okay,
first.
but I can't,
We'll
I
get
don't
into
even
the
know what's
specifics.
happening in there, right?
We'll find out what's going on.
It makes no sense.
Well, before we do that, we've got a couple of the waivers that they asked for. Whether we grant them a waiver for the landscape plan, location, proposed lighting. Oh, no, they have that in there. Never mind. Let's see, licensed septic system, certification of that, we explain that. And the water sewage disposal system, same thing, and a waiver for location of existing proposed easements, because there aren't any. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 waivers that they're looking for. Anybody object to those? If not, a motion to grant the waivers will be in order.
Make a motion that we grant him those 4 waivers.
Motion by Brandon Self to grant the 4 waivers just mentioned. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Michael York. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay, so now the next would be, if you think the application is complete, we need a motion stating so, and also.
moved.
Okay, a motion by Michael York to accept the application as complete. And proceed to public hearing as well?
Yes.
Michael? Proceed to public hearing, seconded by Brandon, proceed to public hearing. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay, so the application is accepted as complete, and we are opening up the public hearing, and for you to make your presentation.
Okay. Most of the information, in this sheet is, I talked about, this sheet covers most of the notes for construction, and ADA accessibility notes here. Most of the notes over here are for erosion control, and sediment erosion control, as well as seeding. And also here is a lot data table which shows what the right here, parking along the front, and on this side, these are parking and display also over here. This is also, the Toyota Volvo dealership is over here, they have parking along through here, for those dealers, and is overlapping in this parking lot, more or less between the two dealerships. There are also 2 larger storage buildings back in this area, towards the rear of the building. The proposal is to construct a new building to the rear, behind the Honda building. And this is a blow up of that area. This is the rear of the Honda building right here. And this is the edge of the existing pavement right here. And so the proposal would be to construct this new building back here. Approximately 30 by 80 is the size of the footprint of the building. A 1-story building. Row of overhead doors across the front. For access to pass these around. These are pass these around while I'm talking to you. These are 3 different sets of presets of the building elevations that people can take a look at for what the building will actually look like when it's constructed. And as you can see, it's a 1-story building with a row of doors across the front. Those are the overhead doors, 4 overhead doors for vehicles to be able to drive in the front. Reconditioning bays inside the building.
See what reconditioning is?
Yes, and I'm going to let Mr. Fenton is here and let him talk to exactly what a reconditioning bay is.
Are we there now?
Yep.
Okay. Reconditioning is just what it says, recondition. If you detail your car, you clean your car, buff your car, install accessories, paintless dent removal, maybe a little mechanical work, but anything that improves the quality of the car.
And where is this currently taking place?
Actually, behind Honda, we have 4 bays right now that we've had, that we had when we added on to Honda 10 years ago, but we need additional
Okay, so
capacity.
you just need more of the same. So
Yes.
this doesn't have to do with washing cars or anything like that. It's not like a.
Well, we have a car wash.
I know.
So, but.
It's not to replace that or alter that anyway.
But it doesn't mean that we won't sometimes use water to hose something down or something, but it's not specifically a car wash. We have a car wash on the lot for that purpose.
And this new building will have floor drains in it. The floor drain will be tied into the same water system that the car wash uses, both through the same tanks, same system. So it's not running out onto the ground, it's all gone into the system that's already existing that handles the water from the car wash.
Is that those tanks it shows behind the building? It looks like they're attached together. Would you point them out?
Yeah, right back here, there's a row of tanks back, right in this area right here. It's like, that's about 5 or 6 tanks back here. They're all
And they're
like
settling
concrete
tanks,
storage
is that what it
tanks,
is?
yeah, basically, yeah, big septic tanks.
We basically recycle some water and burn some water off. We do both.
Most of the water from a wash is recycled, but some of it is just, it goes off and is burned off. So as I mentioned, there will be, there'll be one water line will come into the building for water for inside the building, and then there'll be the one drain line that goes up and ties into the wash system for recycling the wastewater in the building. So the building itself will have a small, added concrete pad in the front, just not concrete, it's asphalt pad added in the front, in front of the doors and bays in front. That will also, what we'll do for, this is another area, this is the one showing the grading and erosion control. And basically, this is where the silt fence will be put out around the outside of the building. Grading will put a little fill on this side of the building. It'll be basically be at grade on this side. There's a little fill needed on this side to build it up a little bit to flatten out the area where the building's going to go. As part of the stormwater control for this, the rear of the building, there'll be an infiltration, a stone infiltration strip constructed to the rear of the building to allow roof runoff from the building to go into that infiltration strip and infiltrate in the ground. That in conjunction with using the existing stormwater pond, using the additional overflow will be directed in the stormwater pond. Those two things will keep the stormwater runoff as it is today, exactly the same. There'll be no increase in stormwater runoff from the addition of this building by using the infiltration and the stormwater storage behind the building, as well as the existing retention pond for a little bit more. Really, the details, there's very little. The detail of basically the foundations and the exterior paved area in the front, as well as paving detail and some light details for piping, and there'll be some bollards around the building to protect the doors, so that somebody doesn't hit the door or hit the side of the building. And this plan shows what will be added to the building for lighting. Basically, the lighting, these two big lights right here, and a big light here and a big one here. Those are the existing parking lot lights that are there now. And so what we'll be using, they're going to remain. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add basically security and access lighting, security and safety lighting at all the doors. There's a main door here, a 3-foot door here, a 3-foot door here, another 3-foot door here. So there'll be security, safety lighting around those doors for entrances, and entrance and exit from those doors. And then there'll be security lighting around the rear of the building, 2 lights here and 2 lights here. And you can see that as it gets off the property level, the light levels when it gets away from the building, the light levels are dropping to 0. They're all cut-off fixtures, dark sky compliant fixtures, so that there's spillage off the site for the light. It's, I guess, not a lot of changes to the site, other than the fact that they're adding the building for the additional conditioning bays. Drainage and infiltration I mentioned, lighting, basically security and safety lighting. Should be no increase in traffic because of this. This is not a customer-driven thing. It's not bringing more customers to the site. It's not a new car display or storage or something like that. It's basically what they're doing now on site They need additional space for that, and this is additional space for the work that's happening on the site today. So,
Would you just review the drainage and grading plan, just bring back to that plan there, just just review? Just show us how it's working, how it works.
yeah, so what happens is this over here, this is the edge of the retention pond back here now. And everything right now, today, everything from here and from here slopes in this direction. The site, there's a runner catch basin that runs along the front. I'm not sure if it's showing. Yes, there is right here. There's a runner catch basin, there's a catch basin there. There's another one right here, and there's another one down here. And there's one less, so there's a line of catch basins right through here right now. They pick up runoff off of this area here, the back of the pavement, and they run it down through here and the outlet into the retention pond here. So that's existing there now, and all of this area slopes this way towards this retention pond. So what will happen is, continue to happen is basically the same thing. The front of this building, this paved area from the building will slope back towards these catch basins, and this one will run back towards these catch basins, be picked up and run towards the retention pond. And that'll be for the front of the building also because of the pitch roof. The rear of the building, the pitch roof in the rear, behind the building, there will be a stone infiltration strip in the back of the building. Basically what that'll do is allow the water that drains off the building to go into the infiltration strip and infiltrate into the ground. This is good, Caesar sandy soil allows for a good infiltration rate. So most of the water will infiltrate into the infiltration strip. What does it will continue in the same direction it does now back into the existing retention pond and be handled by the on-site retention pond that exists as part of the original construction of the property.
Still sheet down into the pond, I see.
Yes.
What are the curved lines? You see them on the left? What are those?
These are grading lines. It's very hard to see, but the existing grade line goes right through here. And what will be, this is a grade line going through here. There's another one that goes.
Not that though. I mean not the grade lines, but you can see there's you've got your finger on,
Yeah, these are proposed grades.
Oh, those are grade lines?
Yeah, proposed grade lines.
Really? Okay.
It'll be raising up the grade a little bit in this area here, a little bit higher than what it is now.
Oh, I see. They've got the numbers. See, our drawing is small. I didn't see the numbers in the box there. I thought it was some sort of a catch basin or something in there. Our drawing.
Yeah, those are just 1 foot grade lines.
Okay, I see. Thanks.
You're raising the grade to the back, to the side and the back?
This side gets raised up a little bit. It's actually this contour line right here is 605 that goes through here. So 605 will be pushed out to this point here. And then 606 will be here because it'll raise up, the finish floor of the building will be 607. So this will, just raising up this side over here. 607 line is right here. 606 line is right here. So this is raising this up a little bit, just enough to get higher than what's this, the water is sloping back towards the ground, the building can slope back away from it. So this corner does get raised up a little, gets raised up about 2.5 feet.
Okay, and you're not going to have any sort of piping coming out to the back going towards your retention pond?
Correct.
That's correct?
Yep, no pipe. What will happen is this will be a couple of feet deep, filled with stone, and it'll allow water to infiltrate into the ground. And what doesn't infiltrate in, if it flows over the top in a big storm, it'll naturally sheet drain into the retention pond.
So this current analysis is higher than lower. Goes this way across there. They fill that up instead of going this way.
2.5 miles.
Same thing. The water will come in, whatever isn't held in that comes above the ground, and goes straight across there and drops down here.
What are the boundaries of the existing and proposed pavement around this building?
Right now, around this building, flip this over, this is the existing plan, you can see right now, this is the existing line of pavement right here. And then there's a little, apron in front of this building here. So the next plan, again, this shows the new building on that plan, so that's the existing line of pavement, there's a little apron in front of this building. There'll be a new small apron right here added in the front of this building, for the driveways into this building, and that's the only paved area that will be added, it's this little apron in front of the building.
Okay, so this is actually more or less accurate, showing lawn around it.
Yeah, it is, yep. Yeah, nothing else back in here will be paved, this will just remain as it is today. Just this small piece right here in front of the building will be paved.
All right, were there any members from the public out there to speak to this issue? You're going to run now. So,
I should know, and Jane, correct me if I'm wrong, the Conservation Commission today.
oh, and is that the department we're doing? No, I wasn't them. Oh, planning and economic, but okay, Conservation Commission weighed in on it, thank you.
Is this the signature? Who weighed in?
On the, I don't know who that
It's
is.
a department head?
It's a planning and economic development, but I don't know who that
That's
is.
J.R. Kaufman.
I cannot read the signatures, Phil, like anything.
Maybe we should have that printed down below.
Yeah,
So,
that's exactly.
any other questions for
EDAC.
the applicant? Then I'm gonna close the public hearing,
Oh, that's right.
and the public hearing is closed.
So, okay, so it's a committee head, okay.
It looks like a pretty straightforward again. They're adding an addition on, or not an addition, they're adding a separate building on the back. Basically detailing, yeah. Well, what they're doing now, but they'll have a better place to do it there. 40 Maple Seat from the road, be a good addition to the facility, I think. So, no other concerns about it, then a motion would be in order to approve.
I'd just like to know this.
I make a motion that we approve it.
Motion by Brandon Self to approve the site plan, the addition is seconded by Michael York. Is there any further discussion? And all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed?
Thank you much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
So that brings us to discussions. And the discussion, Alitech substantial progress review. And I think, you know, that what we're talking about is that, are they condos in that particular one? I think they're condos in that one, yeah. Down on Route 32, right?
Side of the fire station.
Right by where the proposed fire station used to be. So, they didn't do it quite a bit for quite a long time. They had an extension once to get going, and it looked like their deadline was running out. Julius contacted them and says, you know, your deadline's running out again. So either you start filling there or you're gonna have to go back to the drawing board. And if they go back to the drawing board, then that means they would not be able to put in that size of project back there because the zoning laws have changed since then. So anyways, what we're deciding is whether or not they have substantial improvement to the property to continue and go on with their project.
A week before, when I checked it out, they had nothing done at all, like that dumps and brush, but now they've done quite a bit.
They have
piled the building up, they got a lot of grading done.
Yeah, they got one foundation in, and it looks like they've got the framing of one building up there, and they do have a lot of grading in there.
There's a lot of work left on it.
Yeah.
We're not allowed to take into any context the grading as far as substantial is concerned.
We usually do. You
I know
said you
we-
saw that
I
in
know
site
we
plan, right?
do,
Where is
yeah.
that in our site plan? Do you remember where you saw that?
Richard
But we,
correct.
unless it says that we can't.
It doesn't say necessarily that you can, it says that calculating or determining substantial development, it says not to specifically utilize grading, drainage, any level of groundwork as a determination. I think what's also an important distinction in that particular language is not to say that that is not having any level of substantial impact. That is the ground level of substantial impact. You must reach your level of grading and drainage before you start calculating the next step, which would be a level of foundation work. walls in this particular case. We usually don't remove structural as it is, but that is what they're doing now. So I think that's what we're talking about, right?
The building is closed in, it's not just, it's
Is it
closed
closed
in.
in now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I went by it today.
Well, he hasn't got a roof on it.
No, but it's closed in, it's not just.
It's just the
six.
walls.
The walls, yes.
Again, that's 1/16 of the proposal.
You could look at it that way, the entire proposal, but that doesn't mean that the planning board's determination of substantial improvements to the property has to be a certain percentage of it, unless we put it on it at approval time, which we haven't done this one here. So I would not be in favor of telling them that they are not in compliance or that they haven't done substantial work to the property. Send them back to the drawing board, but I don't know what anyone else would think there.
No, I know it'd be a hardship on them, definitely, but we're at a point where we've got to establish a definition for substantial.
It's
I know
on a
we-
case-by-case basis, though. We can do that, the planning board can and probably should do that in some cases, but it is still case-by-case. You can't say that X is substantial development for every single project that we see. When, in the planning process, if they've got a 5-unit apartment there or something, we might say, okay, well, you built 2 of them, that might be substantial. But if they got a 30-unit one going up over there, it wouldn't be the same thing. You know, so we would do that in that particular moment when we actually approve the site plan. Michael?
Would it be reasonable to, at time of approval, is give them the opportunity to define substantial? Let them present to you, this is what I think substantial would be on this project. They know their finances, they know their schedule, they know their subs and the rest of that. And then you guys could at least be working off of a platform that was known versus trying to figure out, well, this site's really hilly, this site's got a lot of trees, and we don't know what's in the ground in this site and stuff. Well, they've already done the test holes and they've already got a good sense of what they're gonna be doing. They could present to you what they believe would be substantial, and then you could say, man, that sounds reasonable.
You're right, that's right, because they would know the site more than we would know it, because they're gonna put a bunch of money into it. Yeah, that would be a good way to approach that.
So let them define the milestones, essentially.
Let them try to define them and let the
Right,
planning board
yeah.
decide whether they're correct or not.
So I cut my lawn today, is that substantial?
I would say it is.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
If I cut my lawn today, is that substantial?
Depends on how long grass
Depends on how big it is.
I
You
mean,
don't
for you,
have a
it's
lawn.
substantial.
You don't have a lawn, Steve, so.
But,
You got Jane's lawn, that would be
have they
substantial.
graded it to the form that it's going to be built?
I don't know if it's
on?
final grading, I know they've done a bunch of grading in there, I don't know if it's final grading or not.
Right,
It's hard to tell.
And is that building sitting where it's gonna sit? Is that?
They're gonna
They're
move
gonna
it.
move it.
No. Well, if it's like Avenue, they can pick it up and move.
I think what we're getting to is, you know, he's got one building, he's proposed 16.
Wow.
Is that gonna be like a model home? And then he's going to piecemeal the rest of it out? Over how many years or how many months?
It's a good
I mean,
question.
we've got two apartments going in, or condos going in. There's no foundation for the rest of that block that's out there.
That same property we're talking about, right? We're
Yes.
not talking about 2 others in
Yeah.
town, we're talking about that one there,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
No, I mean, so,
Yeah, no foundations there.
you know, to me, if you had put the foundation in for at least that first block, then I could rationally say, yeah, we've got a substantial investment and stuff like that. But if he's only got 2 up there and he can't sell any others,
And then he just keeps it going like that.
That happened on, the name of it kills me, Magnolia Lane, right?
Oh, in Keene there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was one house there for years and years and years. Now Pappas has his construction stuff there and started another house, and I think I saw today there isn't a foundation in the ground. But
Takes a while.
it has taken a while, yeah. And the other guy, and I don't know, that might have been the same guy that's over on 32, I don't know. Find out.
Can you review the process? So
We will, if we decide tonight that substantial progress has been made, then what?
Then they just continue with their project. And if,
Is there another deadline beyond
No,
this?
there isn't.
No,
No.
so they could string it out for years.
they could.
Years, like
Yeah,
Magnolia.
but if we're to believe all the reports that we hear about this big shortage in housing, then it's probably likely that it's gonna get built, right?
Well, wonder why it's taken so long.
And they got
Could
to
be
a
a lot
halt.
of
Building
financing,
supplies.
basically.
Yeah, I
It's
Interest
usually-
rates, supply chain issues,
Yeah,
labor.
lots of things.
I mean, there's a list out there. but-
There was a crazy big push to do what they did, and they haven't been doing
You see,
anything for
No,
weeks
that-
now.
that's-
Yeah,
I think it's always difficult for you guys, and I feel for you, because really what you're discussing, is this a good business plan or not?
Mm.
You know, it'd be like.
You mean, is their plan a good business
Yeah, I
plan?
mean, it was just like the Ferris wheel and all that stuff, I mean, you're really, you know, everybody's wondering, how could this possibly work? Well, it's not really your problem, can it go there or can it? We don't review business plans, we don't think that this is a good idea or a bad idea from the business perspective, and that's what we're really talking about. It could take forever, it could, but that's a business problem more than anything else, in my opinion.
Yep, I agree with your humble opinion. Yep. Yes, Steve?
Is he using the money from the front end to finance the back end?
He may or may not, but it goes
Yeah, of
to
course, what you're saying.
his point
Does that matter to us?
it doesn't matter to us.
we don't want to get
Well, it
into
does matter to us because
No, it doesn't, not the planning board. We have, that has
if
absolutely
we were
nothing
going
to
to,
do
if we
with
were
us.
going to grant an extension, if you were going to grant an extension, I'm not seeing.
But we aren't in the process of that. We've already granted them an extension, and they use that up. Right now, if the planning board says there has not been substantial improvements to that property, then they have to stop what they're doing. They have to come back to the planning board with a new site plan and go through it all again.
Right,
That's
then
what
they have to
happens.
go on a new zoning regulations.
And they'll have to go on the new regulations. That's what we're talking about.
Whose problem is that? Also his.
It becomes both of ours problem, because if he can't do it, then it stays looking like that forever. At least now, it's possible that he's gonna build something now.
Possibly it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Well, it certainly looks like he is to me.
What he's got done, he's got to have some money tied up.
No,
He's got to throw it away.
Playing devil's advocate is what I was doing.
Yeah.
We go back to Route 12, by the apartment complex by Page's place.
Yep.
Okay, we established the fact that substantial improvement was getting rid of the old buildings, tearing it all out and clearing it up. And we said, okay, that's a substantial improvement to the land, and allowed it to go unworked for, what, a year and a half, almost?
This time around, I mean, that piece of property
Yeah,
has been in front of this board for like years and
I
years,
know,
all
so-
kinds of different things.
So we established something there.
With that particular piece of property, but we
I
don't,
know, but that can come back and be presented to us at any time, saying, okay, you did this.
it could, right, it could. I mean, yeah, they can take a board to court for anything if they want.
But
You're right.
that's why I'm
Yeah.
suggesting that we need to work on something that's a little more definitive.
But then you're stuck right to that. If you define something, then you're stuck to it. Say we decide to add something in there that says, okay, if you have a wooded lot and you cleared the land, that shows substantial work done. Well, what if I go and buy a piece of property that's already cleared and I can say, well, look, could they use that as
You
I've
haven't
done
had to
something
you haven't had to
because
clear
I've
the
already
land.
cleared it?
I think Mike's approach is best, because the applicant knows that piece of property. They're willing to put some money into the piece of property, and at least we don't have to take their advice, but it's a good place to start.
Good place to start, that's the main thing.
There's something else I'm looking to consider as well, is right now our timeframe is 1 year and ask for extension of the year 2. Maybe given the nature of how difficult it is to build, how long the timeframes are, maybe the 1 year isn't sufficient, maybe it should be 3 years. And if you don't reach that, potential construction in 3 years, maybe that is substantial, right? Versus the 1 year timeframe. Maybe something to consider.
What's the state law saying on that, though?
So, I was gonna say that's local things.
Local.
This makes me think, don't you think of something else? Deb was on the Conservation Commission and this went through, with that Eat on Tap. development down in a hole between Mount Caesar and Talbot Hill.
Something Canyon.
Hmm?
Something
Yeah,
Canyon,
what's-
I can't
I
remember.
remember a name of
Oh,
one.
yeah, it was Canyon,
Canyon Estates.
some kind of Canyon Estates or something.
And then it changed
sounded
to
like it was out
Eden
west.
Tap.
And then it came back as Edon Tap,
Right.
and then it died again. And
Stayed
we
there.
worked with the DES, getting them to look at that, and it was a real mess, but it just died.
Well, what are we gonna do with this one? What are we doing with this one? That's what we have to decide. Steve, substantial or not?
I don't have a vote.
I know, I'm just getting your opinion.
No.
I'm trying to be polite.
No.
No, okay, Brandon?
Yes.
Yes. Michael? Yes. I forget your first name.
Mike.
Mike.
In my opinion, yes.
Okay. Me, I say yes. Richard?
I would.
Just say no, somebody's gotta say no.
Huh?
Somebody's gotta say no.
Somebody already has. Steve.
But he can't vote.
Yeah. Taking everything into consideration and where we are, yeah, I would say yes, he started it, I would like to have seen the full foundation for that first block in there, and I would feel a lot better about what the heck's going on.
Victoria?
I guess I'll say yes. I have real reservations because
We all do.
I think we gotta give him a chance.
hurry up and wait.
Jane?
Well, has anybody said anything to him? Has he had any voice in this? Has he been in? He has.
We've had conversations with him in the town hall.
What has he said?
Well, I think we talked a little bit about how it can be difficult finding one personnel to do some of the work. It's also finding contractors to financing to more than the tenants that it's gonna be in, right? So it's a long process that
Right.
is, again, this 1 year is difficult for him. And partially the reason why I bring up the year timeframe is, as you know, from the last time we asked for an extension, it was a family related issue.
Right.
So the second time around, it's just continuing off of the compounding off the first time.
I guess I would have to say yes, because I've had the same thing happening in my home. Going on and on.
Try to find a workman, right?
I think we're in consensus then, so a motion that,
For the same reasons.
a motion that the, what is their name? Altec, yes.
Kettle backwards.
That's a good one. Altec.
What is it?
Kettle backwards.
has shown substantial progress in their property. Motion by Brandon, that Altec has shown substantial progress in their project. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Michael York. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? And let's see.
One thing I just wanted to say is I do think that perhaps we should have a discussion at some point in the future about Julius's suggestion about potentially extending that, given
more than a year.
Yeah, given the financial circumstances that we're in right now with extremely high interest rates, supply shortages, worker shortages. I can tell you, in my day job is aerospace and defense. I can tell you that has hurt us substantially, and we're the 5th largest defense contractor in the country. So if it's hurting us, I know it's hurting the little guys.
So, yeah, might be worth considering tacking a year onto it. We don't want to tack too much onto it because the zoning changes to town.
Find
we're stuck.
a calendar date, we're not doing a lot, we'll talk about that.
So, okay, what else? Zoning update? Thought we did that.
Copy and paste, huh?
You did it, right? I thought you had something different there. Okay, you're just playing with me now. Plan reading workshop, we already had Market Basket here, so we had that. So other business, anybody have any other business? Then a motion to adjourn would be in order.
I will make that motion.
Thank you, Jane. Motion by Jane to adjourn. Is there a second? Second by Richard. All those in favor, because he's saying aye. Aye. Okay, we're adjourned officially.
Did you check on the sweater yet?
Pardon me?
Did you check on the sweater yet?
I didn't hear you.
Our next meeting is